Dear everyone, a very good morning to all of you. A special invite to Mr. J. Muthukumar, dear members, and others who have taken the time and joined us for AABN's unique session on Cease Aging, Grow But Do Not Age, an Engineer's Approach. Today's session is our 161st weekly webinar. As you all know, the AABN networking and knowledge imparting engine has been steamrolling ahead, crossing several significant milestones and enriching many lives by providing updated information on not just industry practices, but also offering a variety of expert views on soft skill development and personal well-being. As we spread our net far and wide, we have been fortunate to come across several interesting personalities who have eagerly participated in our sessions, shared their thoughts, sharpened our perspectives, and prepared us for future challenges. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce you to today's special guest, Mr. J. Muthukumar, founder and managing director, iWell's Integrated Management Consultants, DMCC, Dubai. I must confess how impressed and inspired I was reading his resume. It was really tough for me to summarize his lengthy resume since every achievement seemed noteworthy. It's simply unbelievable. 4 decades of remarkable work in the highly complex field of oil exploration and production. He's an expert in upstream oil and gas management and a risk expert. His contribution is considered outstanding not just because of his project delivery and value creation skills, but also his ability to integrate innovation technology and explore avenues for AI in the field. An important aspect of his glorious career has been his keen focus on sustainable growth, compassion, and ethical business practices. Among the senior positions he has held, I would like to bring to your attention the following. He was Chief Technical and Operating Officer, Chief Delivery Officer, Head of Integrated Project Management, Global Group General Manager, Drilling and Completions, Well Delivery Leader, High Performance Coach in both leadership and risk in complex projects, among others. As I read the extensive list of achievements in his resume, it filled me with immense pride to think that Mr. Muthukumar too had passed out of the portals of Annamalai University with a bachelor's degree in chemical engineering and belongs to the 1984 batch. His academic merit and intelligence took him to IIT Kharagpur for his master's in chemical and petroleum engineering. He followed it up with a postgraduate program in data sciences in the University of Texas, Austin. And I must note that his work life has taken him to over a dozen countries across the globe, from USA and Norway to Indonesia and Vietnam. He writes books on technology, philosophy, life, fiction, and non-fiction. His upcoming publishing books in Q2 2024 are Bhagavad Gita for the 21st century generation, Sivajnana Bhudam in Tamil, Is There Anything Worth Dying For? Today, Muthukumar is here to share his thoughts and experience on a range of topics that include aging, imbalance, brain power, extending our health span, and much more. Apart from business, his interests lie in social work and create value and service-oriented business model that will serve the humanity for a long, healthy, and happy life. Muthukumar, fondly known as MGR in the campus, is passionate of his service to humanity. He is here to regale us with his astute experiences. Those who know him say his enthusiasm is infectious, and we are lucky to experience it up close today. I know you are all ears for him, so without delay, please join me in welcoming our special invitee, Mr. J. Muthukumar. Thank you. Over to you, Mr. Muthukumar.
Thank you, and really appreciate your introduction. And good morning to everyone. And for some people joining from different time zones, again, whatever time it is, good evening or good afternoon. This topic is not from a doctor, it's from an engineer. So there'll be interesting questions to come out of it. But let me start straight away because we have 60 to 75 minutes to talk and some Q&A sessions. I do not know how much we can cover on this, but we'll try our best. And if I'm going fast and you want to stop and ask a question, please let me know or send a chat message. So Mr. Gopi will collect the questions and we can do it at the end or wherever it is practically feasible. So health, aging, and death, it's a topic that flashes in every one of our thoughts, discussions, expressions. In many families and many cultures across the world, death cannot be spoken. Even grandmas and mothers will hit you on the head. You talk about death. Don't talk about death. It's a big fear on death, and people do not want to talk about aging at any point of time. But what is the all-time biggest inquiry in our human mind, whether we express it or not, is how long will I live? And for many today, for example, that is changed into can we live beyond 100 plus years? Because they talk about they're seeing so much information about advanced medical research, stem therapies, various treatments. We talk about we can extend the life to even 150 years. So people started thinking about can we live beyond 100 plus years? But that was now today, at least the last 2 or 3 years, a major, after COVID-19, a major change has happened in the world. People talking about health span. Health span is basically nothing but it is living without diseases, without medicines, without treatments, independently, confidently. Even at the age of 90, you're able to go to the toilet alone without any support. But traditionally, for this question, where we always went to doctors, astrologers, and priests. That's what we did all the time. People who are afraid, they go to astrologer and ask for looking at the horoscope and asking for how long how is my life is going to be. Or we go to the temple or church or anywhere and talk to the priest and put some special pujas and parigars. But today, modern advanced science and philosophy have changed it. It's not the doctors or astrologers or the priest. We must approach us. What does it say is the answer to live 100 plus years with a good health span lie with us. And that's an important point we have to agree on. So can we live beyond 100 plus years without diseases? Very healthy. Why not? The world record, official world record, is Jean Calment of France. She lived up to 122 years of age and 164 days. And she was mentally, physically active all her life. You won't believe at the age of 110, she was still doing cycling. At the age of 117, she was still smoking. And also she had a biological age of 80 years worth. Her heart was only at 80 years age at 117. And when she died, she said she died at 122 because she stopped moving the body. And you might have heard about blue zones, many of you, where very high percentage of centenarians, we call, who live 100 plus years, very healthy compared to anywhere else. So simple example in the US, for example, one among 10,000, 50,000 live beyond. Yes. In the blue zones, the percentage is very high, 10, 15, even 20% of the people, 1 in 200, 1 in 300, they live 100 plus years very healthy. They are Sardinia in Italy, Okinawa in Japan, Loma Linda in Southern California, Nicoya and Ikaria in the Greece. I can always find out because these are the very high level of research done by Dan Butner, and he's got a very good book called Blue Zones. And he has done nearly 40 years of research on this, and he found out this. And the question is, why cannot we have our own personal blue zone? What stops us from that? Of course, we stop it because we do not understand, respect our human body. And then we get into diseases and aging and suffering and pain, depend on medications and support. So let us discuss. That's a point today to discuss here. If you look at the map here from 1770 to 2021 from WHO and World Oil data, in 1770s, our life expectancy worldwide was less than 30 years average. And in 2021, it is very close to 70 plus years. India is around 63, 64 years. And it was little affected by the COVID, but 2-3 years, but it's about 65 to 70 years. This is because of very advanced medicines and a lot of life standards have improved. People grew up economically. They're able to eat good food, better food. Malnutrition was removed, and infant death is reduced significantly. So we went up to this. But what happened if you look at the other data from 1960 to 2020, our health span did not even change even 1 year. People lived only for 50 to 55 years healthy. More than 85% of the people or 90% of the people above the age of 55, they had to take some kind of a treatment medically, a medicine or a treatment or a therapy, whatever it is. So our health span is still at 50, 55 years. whereas the life expectancy is 70 years. What does it indicate? It indicates that for majority of the people, almost, I didn't put the percentage because it will scare the people or the question will always arise, but more than 90% of the people in the world recorded by WHO and other companies, 10 to 20% of our last 70 years is fraught with pain, suffering, lot of medicines, therapies, and support. People are just lose the independency. Survival becomes a dependency on other people. Some people cannot even go to a toilet, cannot see, cannot hear, cannot digest well. It becomes a problem. So we succeeded in extending our lifespan to 70 plus years, but we are struggling because our health span is only 55 years and up, something like that. So this is just important. We have to ensure that we live a long, healthy, independent life. Is it possible? We came into this world, irrespective of how we glorify our every birthday and cutting cakes, by creating a lot of pain to our mother. Every woman knows about it, how much of pain they go through to deliver a baby. But because of love and a lot of affection, they forget about it. But do we want to exit also creating agony to our loved ones by prolonged life of pain, suffering, and support? Do you want some of our beloved ones to pray for our early departure? Let them go, let him go. We'll be happy or comfortable. Or shall we make efforts for a dignified exit? The answer to these questions lie with you. Nobody else. It is only with you. So why we suffer in old age? And as an engineer who is an expert in complexity and risk, this question spiked my interest based on my own experience on diabetes and hypertension. Irrespective of taking so much of tablets for years, it never changed. I tried to change lifestyle practices, food and exercise, walking, do whatever you want. And sometimes for a short span of time, like 3 or 4 months, everything seems to be all right and very good. Then I say, oh, very nice, man, we clap hands ourselves. Then suddenly it comes back again and it doesn't change. And the doctors tell me, you have to take this tablet throughout your life. You cannot stop it. So this becomes this question, all these things when I look around everybody, and my mother's death based on a hip fracture bone created another really big question for me. Now, what is this about human anatomy, aging, and why we suffer? So I talked to several doctors, my friends and everybody, and I couldn't get any confident, complete, adequate response from any doctor. And many of you may have the same experience talking to the doctors, because on aging, health, and diseases is a big question mark even for medical scientists across the world. If you read a lot of medical research papers, you will see that there's so many question marks even by a scientist who has been doing medical research for the last 30 years. So I did a complete study on medical research, conferences, seminars, podcasts, and discussions. Two amazing tools hit me by surprise. The human body is an engineering machine with electro, mechanical, and chemical process. Everything is happening inside the body. It's an engineering process. And aging itself is a disease. We do not age. Chronologically, yes, from the time of our birth, we keep counting our calendar days and say we are 70 years or 80 years. But our biological age is purely up to us. Somebody of 80 years of age can have a biological age of 50. Somebody age of 50 can have a biological age of 80 plus. So another thing happened is when we start aging, it is from the day we are born to this earth. Not at the age of, aging is not about 60 years or 50 years. Aging is when you are 1 day old in this world. But the real decline of the brain starts around the age of 30. And unless we are mindful, today the mindfulness is a big science. Medical science have understood what our philosophers talked for 3,000 years, starting from Bhagavad Gita to our Jnana Yoga and Bhakti Yoga, and from Aristotle and Plato and so many people across the world, all the philosophers, mindfulness became a major science today in the medical science.
Sir, can you put the size of the screen bigger? Is it possible?
This is the, I'm already in the
Okay.
PowerPoint show screen. I don't know whether I can increase it. I'll try.
Okay.
It's not able to read about. No, sir. Actually, the participants need to just double click on the screen. Automatically, it will enlarge.
No. It's okay.
All right. So if the human body is an engineering machine, then why we have left the study, care, and maintenance of the machine to only medicine alone? We never bothered about it. This troubled my mind. And naturally, I'm an expert in complexity and risk, actually. So I said, if the human body is very complex, so why we are just depending on medicine for everything, and we do not have an answer for it? So after nearly 18 months of detailed very research, this is the product what we are talking about: cease aging and grow, but do not age. So it'll be a challenge. Somebody can question me, am I qualified to talk about health, aging, and diseases? It's a challenge. I agree. I'm not a qualified doctor with an MD at the end of my degree. Whether it's Western medicine or approved alternate medicine like Ayurveda, Siddha, I'm not a doctor. I'm not also not a self-proclaimed healer of unregulated conceptual therapies. I'm not an yogi or astrologer to proclaim that I can treat the body, mind, and soul from the effects of karma, sins, and guilt. I'm an engineer. How I look at project and project risk management. Similarly, I look at the human body as a machine, and from there I gather my principles and foundational understanding. So, human body is a complex machine. That is the truth behind it. Actually, it is absolutely electromechanical chemical process. So, what it requires is an efficient and effective integration. So, I present the engineering principles, the foundational and functional aspects of a human body. So what we discussed, I don't want to go through the list now to save time, but at the end of the day, what we need is a transformative, integrated life enrichment principle. That's the only way you can write the health span. It's not from me only, but 2018, a lot of scientists have realized this fact just before COVID attacked. A lot of scientists in the US and UK and many places realized that opportunity. They started something called integrative functional medicine in 2016. It's a big catching up medical science today in the world. A lot of people are going into integrative functional medicine, IFM. And COVID-19 increased that importance of that IFM. So today, if you go and type in the Google integrative functional medicine, there are a lot of doctors, wellness doctors, IFM doctors are available now. They are going much beyond normal doctors or MDs in the world now. So the transformative, what I call from an engineering principle is not integrative functional medicine. Medicine, the word has to be removed. It's a fundamental, transformative, integrated life enrichment, because medicine means is something outside our control, but it is with us. We have to determine how I'm going to make my life enriched with lifespan and health span. After that, you have to decide, because nobody, I can tell you one thing, every individual human body of the 8 billion people today in the world is completely different. Very, very funny and irony that some 1,000 people's clinical study based on 1,000 people somewhere in the US or Europe is applied across the entire world. But I traveled to more than 50 countries in the world and worked with tribal people and various, not just in cities. I've gone into villages, deserts, deep oceans. I've seen people of various cultures, and the immunity levels of an African remote part is completely different from the immunity levels of the US people. Same thing happens with India. And India, you know very well that from Kanyakumari to Kashmir, our immunity levels are completely different, much higher than Western countries. So you cannot apply a clinical study done in the US with 1,000 people all over the world and say, you take it and run with that. So it is us. We have to decide how to restructure our lifestyle practices, discipline, and habits so that we can live independently and healthy for a long time. So what is a fundamental central factor that drives human life? Whether it is medicine or engineering or anything else, right? Or God or nature, irrespective of where is the source coming from, the fundamental central factor we have to understand is energy. That energy we'll discuss very important, because once we understand energy, we are okay. Because you understand energy very well with your car. You get energy of the car by the fuel you use and how you drive the vehicle. So the human body is the engine. Energy is the most important aspect of it. And then the two fundamental functions that keep us alive and healthy all the time. The first one is homeostasis. Second is immune system. Without these two, we'll die. 1 day after we are born in this world, we will die, simply will die. That one S is missing in the homeostasis. I'll adjust the spelling, please. So what shall we focus on this? All these things are combined, they're controlled by entropy. Entropy is a model I found with my research using engineering approach of thermodynamics. I know that when they talk about thermodynamics, most people hate it. No students like it, no teachers like it. Nobody likes thermodynamics. But it has got something valuable. It's called entropy. And entropy is a one which fundamentally drives the energy in the body. So these four factors are extremely critical for us to understand about our body. Forget medicine for a minute and think about your body as a machine. Now, look at what is homeostasis. I'll just simply give what is homeostasis. It is a most critical and important function that keeps you healthy and happy. Today, if you are sitting and hearing to this lecture, I am talking in this lecture is only because of homeostasis. If it is not there, we will all crumble. We cannot even stand or walk around. You'll just go to disease or die. That's all happen. What is that? It is a self-regulating process which gives a dynamic stability to our body. Without the steadiness and the stability, our body's internal function, every one of them will start to malfunction, will crumble and die. Because our internal body levels keep changing all the time. And they go up and down based on the external conditions. For example, suddenly you are in Chennai in a beautiful tropical climate of 35 degrees centigrade now. Beautiful. Your maximum temperature is 40 and the lower temperature is about 18. So you're happy there. Sorry, tomorrow, because tourism is so big today that you go to Moscow and go to minus 20 degrees centigrade. Now you're changing the external conditions so much from a 35 degrees centigrade to minus 20 degrees centigrade. But your body works very well. Why? It's because of homeostasis. If homeostasis is not there, when you go to cold country, you will die simply because the body does not know what to do with the cold country. A simple factor. So this works with the engineering. For example, I'm going to give only few. There are so many systems in the world and the body go up and down, including pH, calcium, potassium, you name it, whatever, urea, content. We know when you go to yearly medical checkup, they give you about 30 or 40 different items and say it's within the range, without the range, and all these things. Every one of them is controlled by homeostasis, nothing else. Our major ones, I'm giving example, blood glucose level, our sugar, our blood pressure and blood temperature. If I go through how the homeostasis keeps the temperature, okay, your mind, you will be boggled. No other engine, the best Ferrari or BMW cannot match that machine's work. Every day, every minute of your life, the body works to keep a temperature in a small range of 37 degrees centigrade. It goes up slightly above, you get fever. If it goes below, you get into trouble. And same thing happens with blood pressure and sugar in every aspect of the life. So next time when you go and look at your yearly medical test, you take that, look at about 30 or 40 different parameters that check. Every one of them is within the range because your homeostasis is working perfectly well. If it's outside, something is malfunctioning. There's no need to understand from medical perspective. It's an engineering principle. Your homeostasis is not stable. That is the outline from mine. Second is energy. But energy is controlled by entropy. So I don't want to take you into the second law of thermodynamics. It's really a boring subject. All of you will close and walk away. So, but what does it say? Simple language, the total entropy of a closed system will keep on increasing or remain constant, but it will never decrease. Spontaneous process means it's on its own. For example, right, if we say that every object in the universe, including the universe itself, if we left unattended, it will slowly deteriorate and destroy on its own. This is due to the increase in entropy all the time. It applies to human body also. So what happens is when entropy is increasing, it will increase the disorderliness of the state and reduces the available energy. So when the energy is reduced, the healthy functioning of any system, whether it's a human body or anything else, it will go down. A simple example I'll give later, a lot of examples, just for you to understand simply. If you have a beautiful car, you went and purchased a car for $150,000 or 60 lakhs rupees. You bought the car, you left it in the open sun and rain in all weather conditions without touching it for an year. What will happen? It will get rusted and wasted completely. That is entropy. If you leave your house, for example, nobody's living in your house, you leave for about 3 years to the US to be with your children, and no maintenance done to your house. You come back, your house will be rusted and wasted. You need a lot of time to get back into the house properly, make it to live again. That is again because of entropy. So anything you leave it open, you'll get deteriorated. Every mountain, every river, everything. Himalayas is getting destroyed every day because of entropy. One day it will go off. Today you see, because you are 70 years of lifetime, you don't see that. For nature, it is a joke actually. Himalaya is a joke. Himalaya is only 15 million years old, but the whole earth is 4.5 billion years old. So one day, 10 million or 15 million years, just for your information, the Sahara Desert, which is one of the biggest dry, airy desert in the world, it was green life, lot of rivers and animals, everything out just 10,000 years back. It became a desert completely in the last 6,000 to 7,000 years. That's again due to entropy. So you understand that entropy applies to our human body. That's very important from engineering principle. So if entropy is low, your available useful energy will be very high. So when you are born, when you're a small child, your entropy is very low. That is why your energy is very high. Suppose in many grandparents here will understand what I'm talking about. If they have a grandchild of 4 years or 5 years, they can't match the energy. It keep running all over the place. And they will find it very tired because that has got high energy because of low entropy, and a grandparent of 60 years is having low energy because of high entropy. And that is a simple factor. So the entropy is inversely proportional to the energy. So we'll discuss entropy and energy very detailed later, but I won't bring thermodynamics. Don't worry. I'll bring life principles on this to understand so that it is much easier for us. Now I'm going to tell you a small story about the human body. I want all of you to completely focus without looking at your WhatsApp messages or any other disturbance for next 10 minutes, because this is one respect you have to give it to your body. Even if you don't listen to any other slides after this 10 minutes will make you to ponder and wonder, and you will change something in your mind. Please focus on. Now you are walking in the garden. You have a small garden. You're walking in the garden without any gloves or something. You open hand. You have a rusted knife with you. While doing something, you cut it. You cut your hand. A small cut in the finger. It's very small. The skin is open. Some blood is coming out. And then you just kind of rub it or do whatever you want, and then nothing major happens. So you move on. So like it's a small nuisance for you, small pain and a nuisance. You say you kind of curse the knife or your fate. Hey, what the hell is happening, man? You just curse it and walk away. It's just a small nuisance for you. But there was a major war was occurring inside your body without your knowledge. Without that war, without antibiotics to take out, you will die. Simply, that small cut, you will die ultimately. Without that war happening inside your body, of course, if we don't add, if required, if we don't take antibiotics, that's medicine. We'll come to that later. That war is very weird, fascinating, and mind-boggling. The whole process, again, is an engineering principle. Nothing is medicine about it then, that war. That war is an engineering model launched by the immune system of the body. What happens? Just imagine yourself. Your rusted knife, just imagine yourself. Just keep your finger out like this and imagine that you're cutting it now, slowly. What happens is the knife ripped through your skin. You moved on, but the world of your cells inside is exploded. The nested rice, the soil, because you're working in the garden, and the dirt entered the body, small, with thousands and thousands and thousands of bacteria. So this bacteria, which is outside, once enter the body, looks at a beautiful palace, paradise. It's a buffet in a five-star hotel or a Gujarati marriage. It's got plenty of food, which is cells, human cells, and fantastic water, and a beautiful place to live. It's not going to go away. The bacteria want to make our body as a permanent home now. They enter into the body and they rip through the civilian cells. All our civilian cells near that finger, they are ripped apart and swallowed by this bacteria. They cry for help. They just send a distress signal everywhere. If left alone, nothing happens there, we will die. That's the ultimate end. Of course, again, antibiotics may come. Somebody may ask, what about antibiotics? Yes, that is an external thing. But before, the first defense is that. So that small cut will make us die if nothing happens. So the cells are crying with distress signals are sending everywhere, all over the body. Then the body has got a beautiful innate immune system. Remember that. That keeps you alive. Nothing else. That innate keeps you alive. That is built in your body. Okay? And they start moving. The innate system start moving to the spot of the injury. Now the war is about to begin now. Imagine that you're watching a beautiful Avatar movie. Same thing happens here. Much bigger than Avatar, much bigger than what you see in a movie. The sentinel cells, what they call, they are the warrior cells in the border control. Like our soldiers living in the borders of India or any country, they are the border cells. They are the one reached first there immediately. And they're called as macrophages. Let's not remember the names. No need for the names. Just admit that they are the warrior cells. They're the largest in the body, largest immune cells in the body. They go with a rage. They get very angry that somebody has intruded my country. They go with a rage and anger really violently. That's what you don't know. The quantum physics shows that. They go so violently, they start swallowing and eating all these cells. They actually gulp them, swallow them in a whole. All the bacteria are gulped inside. It is like you take a sandwich, for example, you press it in your skin and push it inside, it will go inside like that. It will just encompass the whole bacteria and swallow it. But then you already allowed thousands and thousands of bacteria to enter, and the bacteria's biggest problem is they can re-multiply because there's fantastic food to eat. The civilian cells they eat, beautiful atmosphere, environment there, they'll multiply very fast. So the macrophages cannot sustain. They say, oh man, I'm not able to, I need help now. Come on, backup battalion, come now. Eat guys, again a distress signal. Then the next one comes, neophilis. Neophilis like is Kamakoshi. I don't know how many people know Kamakoshi in the Second World War. The Japanese fighters, like they are small flights, they will go suicide themselves. They'll go and hit, not bombs, nothing. They'll take the flight, come straight away into your house, for example, and crash and die. Kamakoshis are most fearful, dangerous enemy strikes from Japan. They are these neophilic Kamakoshis. They cannot regenerate. They live a small life duration. So they know that they will die. So they will fight to die. They will go very raw against this bacteria and fight all them. It all happens around you within the first 2 minutes after you cut it. Just remind that. And the process, they are so much atrocious and very angry and violent, they can also damage to our body. That's the problem. But for them, more than the body, destroying the enemy is more important. So they'll destroy the enemy and then let's repair the body later. At the same time, what is happening now? Just imagine again, it's a story, nice story. The fight is going on. We're watching a movie now. Another thing happened in parallel. The blood vessels, right? They open up. They allow a warm rush of blood to go into the spot. You can see that's why you bleed immediately because the blood vessel open up. Go immediately. Go there. Some people, our grandma will ask, our grandpa will ask, hey, did you get the blood after you cut it? Oh, blood has come out. It is good for you. That's a very nice, fantastic, wise advice. Because the blood vessels will push that warm rush of blood. And it actually what happens, that will create a pain. That is what initiates the nerve cells, pain nerve cells of the body, that sends a signal to your brain and saying there's a pain. And that is why you understand there's an injury. If that rush of blood, your nerve cells do not send the signals to your brain, even if you hit your hand, hit your leg, you cut your leg, you won't feel the pain. You'll keep on walking. The blood will keep on going, keep on walking. So how do you know that you're injured? You have a pain. Then immediately you understand where's the pain, look at it and try to take first aid or whatever. If that doesn't happen, you don't know. There's no pain. You don't see that you are injured. At the same time, the rush of blood comes with the heat, a warm liquid, and the bacteria don't like it. They die. It's a beautiful silent killer. So 3 prongs of attack: macrophages, neutrophils, the suicide warriors, and your blood rush. All 3, the heat, start killing them. But the blood rush is inflammation. That inflammation, we always curse about inflammation. People shout at inflammation. They hate the inflammation. But that is a defensive mechanism that saves you. But one big question mark on the inflammation, as long as it is not chronic. Chronic inflammation like diabetes, a liver problem or kidney problem is dangerous. That's different. But defensive inflammation, when you get injury, is very, very important for health. Now, next step. The battle is still on. With all the 3, nothing happens. All this happening within the first 1 or 2 minutes of getting injury. Remember, there's a pathogen among the bacteria. The pathogen knows how to multiply, and he can read our barrier cells very beautifully, like Alexander's army. It fights and kills everybody. The pathogen has become too much now. So the innate immune system is failing. He can't do anything with this pathogen. So our soldiers are dying. The warrior cells are dying, and the neophilus suicide cells are dying in thousands and thousands. So what they do? The innate immune, this is a beautiful one actually, is initiate something called dendritic cell. The dendritic cell does not get into fight. It watches everything silently. It is an intelligence collection center. It collects the center. It just watches what type of bacteria is, what type of fight is going. So what does it do? It takes the intelligence and take it to the central intelligence immune system, which initiates the adaptive immune system. The adaptive immune system is not come by birth. Innate immune system is into your body. You cannot change it. If you have a birth defect, you are in trouble. That's something different. But if you don't have a birth defect, you have a very good innate immune system. That's what keeps you alive when you are born. But adaptive immune system you develop as you grow by your lifestyle practices, good food, physical exercise, whatever you do. You are sedentary, a couch potato, eat junk food all the time, your adaptive immune system will go down. For example, the people in the US have very low adaptive immune system. You just imagine COVID, 16% of COVID deaths from US alone, despite all this advanced sciences, medical sciences, sanitary system, beautiful. But highest suffering came from developed countries. Country like India, less than 1% of COVID death. US reported 3 point something, I don't remember the number, but but India reported only 553 COVID deaths because natural immunity is very high. A lot of people drank the grandma's concoction liquids, and Africa, same thing. In Africa, I was there during COVID in Africa for 6 months. I was stuck there. I never seen a single one bothered to wear mask. The single one, they never died. They're very, very healthy. They said our immunity from malaria is much bigger. I don't care about this COVID. What is this COVID? They laugh at it on the road. Only the officers, all the modern officers wanted masks and all these things. But the people on the road were very casual. I never seen anybody, my driver, nobody bothered about it. Immunity levels are very, in India, same thing. I've seen a lot of my friends who said, no, I will not go for this vaccination. I'm happy with my thing. They lived, a lot of people in the villages. But that is the immunity levels are different. So the adaptive immune system is very important. It's only up to us whether we are going to keep it increasing or learn it. So when the adaptive immune system comes from, it's a beast of its own. Now it comes in, and with the adaptive immune system, the war is almost over. At that time, it's about a minute or two. All this happened now. You what are doing now? You're looking at your finger cut now. Hey, what happened to my finger? You'll see that already the cut is closed, the bleeding is stopped. What do? You go for a coffee happily. Let's go for a coffee. But what happened? When the bottle is going on, when the bacteria are dying, the platelets, which is one of the important things, which actually closes the wounds, which are fragments of blood cells, along with some of the red blood cells, they create an emergency barrier. They close the wound from the outside world. You see a small swelling, but that's not a swelling. It's actually a cap made by the platelets as a barrier to prevent any other further bacteria to enter. Now the bacteria are stopped now. No more support, no more second battalion of bacteria. They are now closed down. So then you become all right. You go and have a coffee or whatever you want to do. This is a fantastic thing happens every time you get a small injury to your body. Every time something happens to your body, your immune system works on it. Just imagine that a small cut can kill you if this doesn't work well. So qualifier is, I made it oversimplifying to make it a story. It's much more complex. So if anybody is interested, I can go from a complete mathematical or engineering approach. But this whole image story is from a doctor called Philip Detmaner, which I have communicated with. Okay. Now it's interesting now. So when do we start aging? Biologically as well chronologically, from day one. That is what is important. You start aging from day one. You don't wait up to the age of 45 or 60 or 70, man. In the old day, we say that, oh, go read Bhagavad Gita, Ramayana, Mahabharata at the age of 60. No. Bhagavad Gita, we have to read at the age of 7. That's how you live and learn. So when you are born, actually entropy is the lowest. The energy is highest. But our brain starts to decline at around the age of 30. We'll come back to it later. So from the age of 30, you are different ability. All of you know, because many of you are above the age of 30. You know very well that your body functions, intelligence and memory, they start declining at different times and rates. Right? Some people forget places. Some people forget names. It's all normal, naturally. That doesn't mean that you got into dementia, but it's a natural decline of the energy, the body. But the wisdom, what you learn, continues to increase its peak and go up to around 60 years plus or minus. That's why you look at the graph, our brain from the age of 30 starts declining, our wisdom starts declining at the age of 60. So you will see, you have seen a lot of people around you. At the age of 60, they will talk very wise words. But they become 72 or 75, they'll start blabbering. You will wonder, this guy was so wise, man, talks very sensible things at the age of 60, 65, 10 years back. Now look at it, he's talking like a madman. It is not his problem because he's allowed his wisdom to decline. Again, it is individuals. No nature, don't call God and say, God, why are you punishing me? God did not punish you. You gave a beautiful, wonderful body to us. And we go to astrologers and priests and God and ask for it without doing anything. You do it, God will be there. I'm there to you. So it is we. So we should not allow our brain to shrink. One learning point is that for keeping the energy good, we should not allow our brain to shrink. You do that, anything happens to your body, it is your own mistake, nobody else. So let us not, so unless the human brain is kept fully and stimulated well, we cannot perform the work to sustain a low entropy and high useful energy. And if you understand this particular principle, nothing else is required for you. Seriously speaking, nothing else is required for you. No need to go to doctors, no need to read a lot of medical research papers, nothing. One of the things in engineering principle is that understanding one fundamental things, we can actually create a huge scalability. A simple principle of Einstein, for example, theory of relativity, another complex matter, but single equation, E is equal to mc square. That's all. If you look at the background of the entire theory of relativity and all these things, it's a very complex science. But the ultimate result was E is equal to mc square. In the whole of nature, every complex process has got a single simple solution. Only people make complications of a very small problem because of misunderstanding. If we do not understand, even a small issue, you make it very complicated. But if you understand, some like Einstein, for example, one of the most complicated principle of the world, the universal physics. He got it into simple things. E is equal to mc square and in theory of relativity. And all the science advancement came from that. A lot of examples I can give you: Max Planck's quantum physics and mechanics, which is a mind-boggling science, but he gave it a very simple process to solve the problem. But we simple, a small issue with the compound to the next neighbor, we make it 20 years in the court and fight for a 1 feet of warning. And we create a problem, we give money all to all the lawyers and court, and we become poor by fighting for 20 years for a small problem. We create that complexity because our mind, our brain is not allowed to create that wisdom and energy. Just imagine yourself, when a lot of people, simple thing about everybody talks about Steve Jobs. But Steve Jobs did not become successful just like that. In 1976, all the world people around 60, 70 know about it. We want to hear to good music. We have the small tape, analog tape, which has got small tape around. One tape will have only 14 songs. And you want to hear, you have to carry a big suitcase of tapes, and then you put it in a Walkman or something, and then every time the tape will get cut. And I've seen that you should remove the tape and cut it and paste it and all this, and listen to it. That time, Steve Jobs started, why can't I change it to digital music? Why I have to listen to this analog music of tape? And that one was created after 21 years, 1997, with his iPad music system, which became iPhone in 2007. But he had that idea, a simple concept, and nobody thought it would happen, but he made it happen. He created a big thing, but we create ourselves without understanding the fundamental principles, a small issue into a major problem. So if you understand entropy and energy, simple, and you will know what to do in your life. So what is really the human body? Do we really care? We don't. Why? Because it does not come from our money, right? God gave it free of charge for us. If you buy something, today you buy a pen or a small dress or a shoe, you possess it obsessively. Come on, man, nothing should happen. You buy a small cycle for, let's say, 5,000 rupees or $200. I mean, you maintain it, clean it, put oil, everything you do one. Nobody should touch it. Nobody should have scratch. You buy a car now for some 5 lakhs rupees or $10,000. Somebody makes a small scratch, you get very angry, you fight with them, jump up and down, right? Because you paid it from your own money. Do you worry about it? But the priceless gem of this body, you'll ignore because it is given free by nature, evolution, and God, whichever you believe. So our body is truly a wonderful electromechanical chemical process machine. Better than any sophisticated equipment. You talk about the best equipment in the world. Is much, much better than that. Personally, I use one of the most technologically marvelous equipment in the world, something called top drive. I cannot explain that. It's one of the most complex machine ever developed by man. This top drive is bigger than NASA's space science, what is going into the space. Our brain is much better than top drive. Much better than the machine which is pushing the rocket up to the space. We have to remember that. And since it came free for us, we don't care. So I don't want to take a lecture about make you boring or overwhelming with that. But our body has got 12 major systems. All of you know from biological classes. You go to Google, you can find it. Many people know. Children know about it. Everybody knows about it. I don't want to read it all. But main thing is cardiovascular, respiratory, digestive, all this. The entire body works with these 12 systems. I just want to run through with you only 3 major ones, just to show you. Cardiovascular, we all know, blood pressure, heart is very important. Digestive, extremely critical, and respiratory. We all, after COVID-19, a lot of awareness about this respiration has come into the world. So what about the heart? Please focus on it now. It may be overwhelming for some people, but remember, the heart is a machine, it's a pump. There's nothing medicine about it. No medical things about the heart. It's a pump, just a machine it is. Like your water pump at your home. It's simple, a car engine, it's like that. It beats constantly without rest, not even a minute. If heart stops for a minute, you die or you go into coma. Without rest, without stopping, it continuously pumps to transport blood and oxygen, all the nutrients to all the cells across the body to keep us alive and healthy. You know, in a 70 years of life, at an average the heart beats for 2.65 billion times. 2.65 billion times. And the blood vessels, if you remove the blood vessels and stretch it across, it is 100,000 kilometers long, 2.5 times the Earth's circumference of the equator. So the heart is pumping 100,000 kilometers of blood. Just imagine you have a car now. Your car, if you want to go for 100 kilometers, that's 100 kilometers, then you have to stop, put the fuel again on it, look at everything else, water, maintain, whatever you want to do it. But this one is running without rest, without stopping for 2.65 billion times, is beating 70 years. And every time the blood is going to 100,000 kilometers long. So the pressure which is required for the pump, any pump requires the pressure to pump. That is called blood pressure. And if you understand what is this mechanism, you will automatically understand what is hypertension. You will make sure your heart, that is why engineering principle is good. Understand the fundamental, then you'll know what needs to be done for your blood pressure. I want to just run through this small thing actually. Many people know you measure blood pressure, 120 by 80 is a magic number. So 120 is, let's forget about the name systolic, diastolic, we forget the name, guys, not to bother about it. What is 120? It is a pressure when the body is beating, which is pushing the blood to the 100,000 kilometers. What is 80? It is a pressure when the body is at rest, between the beats, like body beats like this continuously, but after one beating, it rests for a second or a moment, like this, like this, like this, very small second. I mean, one fraction of some second actually. So boop, 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 like this. In between the beating, the pressure goes to 80. So this is 120 beats. So heart at rest between beating is, just remember, when heart is pumping blood, is giving a bump like this, it is 120. When the heart is resting between the bump, it is 80. It's like taking a stick and say tap, tap, tap like this. When you're hitting it on the table, it's 120. The rest in between the beatings is 80. That's all it is. So we have to see your body, how much is having at 80 at rest when it's not pumping. So your car will run without rest for 70 years? No way. You have to do regular maintenance of 10,000 kilometers or 200 hours of engine. You will do that because you paid for it. You'll ensure that it is maintained. So why we don't do that for the heart? Why we ignore it? And why we get surprised when I get a heart attack? Why me, God? Why me, God? Why me? What I did do anything. I did not do anything at all to anyone. I didn't create a sin, but I got a heart attack. But nature and God doesn't bother whether you do good or bad. You don't maintain the heart, you're going to suffer. And again, one more thing, I didn't put it, I want to tell you very clearly, fitness is different from health. A lot of people who are highly fit, they die by heart attack. I have this experience 15 years back. One of my friend's wife, she's a health nut, even at 2002, 2001. Health nut, serious health nut. Maintained the body, ate only the healthy, best food, and she died in 15 minutes of time. And that created a major question to me even that time. Why? How it is possible? Then I see continuous information. Even recently, one actor from Karnataka, I forgot his name, very healthy and good bodybuilder and regular exercise guy, he died suddenly of heart attack. It's become a major issue everywhere. So fitness is different from health. Health is holistic in the entire body, but fitness is simple, it's isolated. You remember that. So what is hypertension? When the pressure is different from 120 by 80, it becomes hypertension. And again, medical science is a problem, I tell you all the time, the sense that nothing is consistent there. In 2003, the CDC, Center for Disease Control in US, said hypertension is 140 and 90. Anybody above 140 and 90 will be hypertension. In 2017, they changed to 130 to 80. Now you're working with, in India, for example, it's different, right? Doctors are a little more flexible and independent, have the freedom. But you go to the UK or Australia or US, if a doctor measures 130 and 80, and suppose you are 85 and 135, he can't ask you to go home and do something. He has to take a treatment. He must give you a tablet or something, because something goes wrong, then you'll be in trouble. So they just use this number to medicate. But in India, many places I've seen doctors have say, change the lifestyle practices for 6 months and we'll come back, measure it again, and then we'll take a call. Some good doctors are there in India. They don't start the medicine immediately, but they have the freedom. But in other places, in Western countries, they don't have that freedom because they cannot do that. The patient complains to the council saying that the doctor saw this 135, 85, but asked me to go on to practice lifestyle practices, never gave me medicine, then he will be in trouble. So that is why in US, many people keep eating tablet. Anything highly expensive tablet, US is a market, even today. So next one is digestive system. It is a massive, unimaginable. You have more than 100 trillion gut bacteria in your stomach. And they create this beautiful thing, whatever you eat. You eat chicken, mutton, vegetables, milk, drink this, drink that, junk food, burgers, pizza, everything. It will digest it. The food makes you live, right? The digestive system breaks down the food for nutrient absorption, nothing else. It breaks into small pieces of nutrient absorption and removes the indigestible waste at the end, right? I don't want to go through detail, but just simply when you eat the food, it goes into the mouth and it cuts you cut and chew and small chunk. That's why our parents say, our grandma say all the time, eat slowly, cut it, chew better, do not swallow. People swallow even a big piece of chicken like that because they're afraid that the chicken will be empty. So when you're eating, you look at the people eating buffets, very interesting. They eat fast because they don't want buffet to get empty. So without enjoying the food or chewing properly, they swallow fast so that they can go for a second helping or third helping. Even at home, many people do that because when you're eating, you're afraid of, oh, I have to take the next portion or what I'm going to eat next. Oh, there's a beautiful food is there. I have to eat it faster. Our grandmas eat on the head and say, eat slow, man, chunk it, make it chunk. That's what you should do in the mouth. Then when you go to stomach, when it's properly bitten, cut and chewed properly, then it stomach converts into a liquid paste called chyme. It's very interesting. Chyme is simply a liquid paste, becomes whatever you eat, your chicken, mutton, whatever, it becomes a chyme. It's not solid anymore. The moment it goes below your throat, there is no taste. Gone. Taste is only at the tip of the tongue. Then it goes to small intestine. Here, the chyme is broken down into nutrients. From there only it goes to all the cells to become energy. It goes to mitochondria. It goes to every other cell to become energetic and their life actually. All right. But that one, the most important here to understand is the nutrient-rich blood goes to liver. Okay. One question to many people: what is the most important thing apart from heart and brain? Liver. The liver is bad, you are gone. Because liver, the food goes into liver, which actually makes this nutrient very useful. It removes all the harmful chemicals. For example, you have processed food. All the time we eat processed food today. We go to supermarket and buy without thinking what it is. And the processed food has got a lot of stability chemicals. Because just imagine why processed food need 24 hours. You look at all the processed food. Go to supermarket today. Take up it. Look at the expiry date. It's always 2 years. But when you make pepper powder at home or a chili powder at home, you keep it open. You can't keep it for 1 week or 2 weeks maximum. It'll get spoiled. But how supermarket has got for 2 years and why? Imagine, because it is manufactured somewhere in Australia and is shipped all the way to, let's say, to the US. And the shipping time takes about 3 to 4 months. And then from there, from the wholesale distributed, after custom clearance goes to the retail, another 2-3 months. So by the time from the date of manufacturing, from the time it comes to supermarket in your hometown, it is 6 to 8 months. Because it has to go by, it's not coming by air, it's coming by ship. So already 8 months gone. Then in the supermarket, they need at least 6 months to store. Where no supermarket will accept a food which comes from Australia without a 1 month expiry date because they can't sell it, right? They say, no, I need 6 months minimum to put it on the tray. So 14 months gone. So any product manufactured in Australia going to US or India or Africa, they have to have a minimum 14 months expiry time. So where is the freshness I always laugh when people say, I always eat fresh fruits. Very nice. It's like, I don't see Tamil movies, only English movies. What is this? This story about fresh foods? Because you're taking something manufactured in Australia, an apple, you're eating in Chennai or Delhi or Bombay or somewhere, but it's taken already 6 months to come from Australia to by ship. So where is the freshness? Fresh fruits is only if you eat within 24 hours, directly plucking from a tree or something else. All the 6 months of storage coming from containers in frozen conditions is not fresh anymore. All right. So the liver removes all the harmful materials and everything out and makes the bile to digest the fats. Then it goes to large intestine. Here, what is it? It actually creates the indigestible waste into feces, which goes out as a stool in the morning. If this doesn't work, you have constipation, you have problems, you end up in a lot of other troubles, gas and whatever it comes up to you. So this is it's a bit much more complex, but we have to accept the fact that our digestive system is an excellent engineering process, really big engineering process. Everything like pancreas and liver, everything helps actually. I don't want to go into detail, but understand fundamentally that this is an engineering process, nothing medical here. This, if you look at it, it's all chemistry and electrical and mechanical. And the last one is respiration for us to know. It's very important for us to know because that's what we live, right? And COVID-19 created this big awareness about respiration. A lot of people in the US, Western countries, all over the world gone into pranayama, yoga, and all asking what is pranayama, how to improve our lung power and all these things. That is there for more than 3,000 years in our country and we never bothered about it. Pranayama is corporate structure now. People use corporate pranayama, 6 minutes of corporate pranayama. 3 minutes of express pranayama, all commercial to make money. But do pranayama 15, 20 minutes a day beautifully. That helps everything automatically. All right. We have been taught by this, our Yoga Sutras and pranayama, but we ignore. So if you look at it, it is a vast network for millions of airways to the lungs. So from nose and mouth, we inhale the air. Just look at it. The lung separates, the air is not oxygen. The air is a mixture of oxygen, nitrogen, some other chemicals. That oxygen has to be separated from the nitrogen. Just imagine, if outside, if I ask you now, I'm giving you air, boss, one bottle mein, aap separate karo. Oxygen separate karo, then make it nitrogen separate and give me. You won't be able to do, you don't know what to do. You have to go to a chemist or a lab and ask him, you have to have a machine to do that and all these things. But lungs do it every day. Every minute of your life, lungs is doing for 70 years. It removes oxygen from the air and sends to the bloodstream. So the blood actually carries to the oxygen to all the cells of the body. Now the cells, what they do, they inhale the oxygen and create sugar, energy, whatever, and then they exhale carbon dioxide as a byproduct. Now, carbon dioxide, as you know, is a poisonous gas, not good for health. It has to be expelled. So the blood takes the carbon dioxide back to the lungs, and lungs then exhale through our outgoing breath. So when you inhale air, not oxygen, air, and when you exhale carbon dioxide. So why people talk about ecosystem is very important. Why you should have trees, why you should have plants, because the carbon dioxide is coming out, it has to be consumed. Otherwise, 8 billion people and so much of trillions of animals, everything is releasing carbon dioxide every day. So if whole world will be full of carbon dioxide, right? That's what trees come. The trees inhale carbon dioxide and exhale oxygen. Look at the nature. And when you cut the tree, we don't care about it. But a tree converts your poisonous carbon dioxide into good oxygen back to you in the air. That's the job of a tree or a plant or anything. They consume our carbon dioxide and give you oxygen. You take oxygen, give carbon dioxide. So it's a closed system of balance and equilibrium between the human beings and the plants and trees. So you give it to some beautiful mining company, come and destroy the forest and take cure, and you buy it beautifully, you have iPhone, everything. But then what happening is your nature is getting destroyed. Obviously, you're going to get bad air, polluted air, and your body is going to get affected. Then you go to doctor and spend money for medicines. Look at the respiratory process. It's a very complex process. No manufacturing factory can even run like this. Nobody has manufactured this. As far as I know, if you look at I can't explain it much bigger here, but it's a big science and big process, how the how the separation takes place for oxygen, how it gets converted to energy, how it then goes into carbon dioxide. It's a big process. But this is happening every minute, every second in your body inside. So now, just going with this three, I don't want to take anything more, but this three demonstrates very clearly that there's nothing medicine about it here. There's no job of a doctor or a medical science here. Everything is engineering principle, chemical, electro, and mechanical principles. So we can understand now, without a doubt, that all the body functions are based on engineering principles. So this created major problem in my mind. Because of my diabetes and blood pressure, which I'm not able to solve, I'm eating medicine after medicine. I'm not able to stop it. Several times I stop the medicines. I go into lifestyle practices. I eat good food, everything, remove all this, whatever the dietitian keep telling. I'll come to that food later. Nothing happens. This created a thing in my mind, actually. Why should we, what is going wrong? And understood that medicine alone is not a solution for anything. It is us. We create a problem. That's the opening moment for me in my life, light bulb. So one qualifier now before we go to the next step is, this one is not to replace medicine. I want to make it very clear. Medicine is extremely critical and needed. There's no second opinion. We cannot live with medicine, without medicine. Medicine alone is insufficient. That's the only thing you have to remember. We cannot live without medicine, but medicine alone is not the solution. It cannot alone keep we healthy and longer life. We have to do something to complement the medical advances and technology. That is the primary purpose of an engineer's approach. How to complement the advances in the medicine. That's what we have to understand. So please don't get me wrong that medicine is not required. Medicine is extremely important. So let's go into this. What is medical science today? Medical science are generating groundbreaking innovations. I am amazed about it because I never understood medicine 2-3 years back, except talking to doctors and things. When I started reading a lot of medical research and papers and things, like mind-boggling work, there are a lot of great medical scientists in the world working across the lab. There's a lot of great neuroscientists, a lot of great neuro doctors and other specialists. They're doing excellent work, unimaginable work. And listening to them in their podcast and talking to them, it's a very dry subject for me as an engineer. But sitting and listening to them when I go for a walk or when I do an exercise, or sometime when I'm sitting and having a cup of coffee instead of watching a useless movie, Netflix or Prime, I listen to this podcast, something changed in me. My respect for doctors, especially medical scientists, grew exponentially. They're doing a great job. Medicines are top notch. Like they can amazing skills they have for wound, injury, heart attack, fractures, organ transplant, surgery, anything. I experienced with my own mother's when she was 87 years old, her hip was broken. That doctor who did, doctor called Dr. Ramasamy, it's amazing work actually. And this technology, what he explained is simply amazing. So they're having very high level of amazing technology and skills, but it's all with the direct treatment. The success of medicine is only with a direct treatment with a clear objective. But that is the problem in medicine. It is unable to achieve an holistic solution on diseases, health, and aging because chronic diseases like hypertension and diabetes. How many of you are having blood pressure and diabetes for 10 years, 15 years? You have been only taking tablets like me, right? With the side effects. Why there is no solution to stop the diabetes or hypertension by something? A lot of research is going on right now. Gene therapy and stem therapies and this and that. But no one knows whether it will be successful or not, right? And there's no cure today for Alzheimer, dementia, which again is very important. I don't have, because of time, I didn't put something, but we have to understand that 50 years back, people are dying less than the age of 60. But today, everybody living up to 70, 80, 90. So the percentage of Alzheimer, dementia is increasing because the onset of this disease starts only about 55 years of age. So when you die up at the age of 55, 60, then you don't see this. But when you're living up to 70, 75, many people, There's a great increase of Alzheimer and said dementia as people are living older. There is no, for certain types of cancer, there's no treatment at all. And there's no cure for several diseases even today. That is why our movie directors, if you look at it, they'll go to the Google or go to some Korean movies and look for special diseases with no cure. Then the patient gets into the disease, the child runs in the ground playing football. Before hitting the goal, the child will fall down. The father takes it, rushes to the hospital. Doctor says, this is the disease called chick, 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 chick. There's no cure for it. I am sorry about it. Or it will cost you 10 crores to cure the body. One tablet costs you 70 crores, I think, something like that. That's what movie directors look for. But it's true, there are a lot of diseases with no cure at all. We don't even have a cure for our cold, right? That's the famous saying, all of you know, nothing new. If you don't take tablets, the cold will become all right in 1 week time. If you take tablets, it will take 1 week to cure. They're simple like that. So the cures are changed continuously on experimental basis. The clinical trials are not exhaustive to cover the entire population of the world. A lot of instances you can see, if you just go and find out, a lot of drugs which are already approved by the approving authorities like FDA in the US, every country, they call back after they go to the public and see the effect and impact. So it's all experimental basis even today. I can talk about the pharmaceutical politics a lot, but it's not for the topic today. But women will know, women in this call will definitely appreciate this. Thousands of years, women suffered pain or major discomfort during the menstrual cycle. There is no medicine today for that. There is no medical solution for it. Every woman suffers it. People have lived with mother, wife, and sisters and daughters know about it. All males, even if they don't understand the pain of mother, sisters, and wife, will understand the menstrual pain of a daughter because of the love they have for the daughter. And the women also suffer yeast infection and UTI majorly compared to men. And some of the yeast infection can be chronic. Some women suffer for 15 years, 20 years. There's a beautiful song in one of the movies the teacher sings actually. I am a woman, but I suffer with yeast infection for 15 years, something like that. And another thing, medicine does not know even today why post-menopause, women's problem increases. Simple thing like sugar levels. Before menopause, let's say a woman is not diabetic, sugar levels are under control. Post-menopause, for the same type of lifestyle, without changing food habit, everything, the sugar level increases. Science does not have an answer for it. It's a major mystery of why post-menopause women have a lot of issues and problems. These are thousands of years. Where is the medical solution for it? So understanding fact is medicine is top-notch when there's a clear objective of the disease or surgery or something like that. When it comes to chronic or long different diseases where there is no clear objective or underlying root cause, there's no solution in medicine today. It will take a long time. Maybe, I don't know how many years, but it's still research going on. Just today's medical treatment methodology, because all of us go to doctors immediately, I'm asking. If somebody, let's say one of you having a BP, blood pressure, and heart problem, you go to doctor number one. He tests something like that and gives a medicine of one set. For BP, take these tablets, night and morning, before food, after food. Diabetes, another doctor. He tests by a test and say, oh, you have high fasting sugar, high BP and all these things. Take medicine set number 2, morning and evening, before food, after food. Irritable bowel syndrome, gastric issues, doctor number 3. He tests something else, medicine number 3. I have a back pain doctor 4, medicine number 4. I have a problem in the throat or ear, doctor 5, medicine number 5. So on the like a breakfast, you eat 4 idlis and 6 tablets you eat every day. Or the dinner, you control your dinner, but before sleeping, you have 5 or 6 tablets. Every house has got a tablet box, like the spice rack of our grandmas at home. We have a tablet box in the table next to the bedside. I eat tablets myself for diabetes and hypertension all the time. I'm fed up with that. I'm working on it now to reverse it. Whatever you could to reverse it. And by the end of the year, 2024, I want to stop the tablets for hypertension and diabetes once for all. That is I'm working very hard on that now, based on these principles. And look at what is the medical methodology today, for example. Anomaly. So there's a line given here. If your range is above this line, you have a disease, man. If it's below, you can dance and have a party. If somebody, the fasting sugar is 100 now, for example. Somebody is having 115 here. Oh, you have a disease, take tablets, stop sugar, stop this, stop carbohydrates, this. Lot of ideas. You go and tell somebody I have diabetes, everybody on the road is a doctor. They'll come with thousands of cures and ideas to do this. Karela juice, man, every day, pagaka, sabde, every day. Nothing will happen. You will be all right. Somebody will say this one, somebody will say kadukai, somebody will say something else. Oh, everybody is doctor for diabetes. And then if it's only 90, then you can eat any amount of sweet. No problem. 1 kg of laddu, no problem. Take it. Nothing will happen to you. Same thing with the BP. 120 by 80 above, you take that. So this number is wrong because this is a global average number. We have to understand this number is not a global average. For different people of different immunity, different lifestyles across different cultures, countries, and continents, this may not be right. A disease is not a binary system. One thing has to be very, very clear on our mind. It's not yes or no based on a number or a range like this. The onset of a disease started a long time back. Like today, you go and check the diabetes and it shows fasting sugar 110. So you have a diabetes or a pro-diabetes, what a doctor calls you, because there's a, they call it pro-diabetics or pre-diabetics, and then diabetes like that. So they say you are pre-diabetic now, but you're not pre-diabetic today. That is already happening 10 years, 5 years before, but you didn't realize it. You're going through this. Nature never breaks anything abruptly. That is very important to understand. Nature always gives a kind of a warning. People say earthquake came. No, earthquake, nature gives warning. Before an earthquake happens, lot of seismic tremors keep coming all the time. Scientists measure it. The problem for many scientists, the seismologists, the scientists is that at what point of time you give a warning to the people to evacuate. That's a big thing. You've seen movies actually. A seismologist will say, oh, we have to warn, we have to evacuate the town. Somebody will say, a politician will come and say, no, people will get very panicked. The banking system will close. Commerce will be affected. Industries will have problem. Economy will suffer. You have to wait for some more time. Are you sure about it? Then these keep both fighting, and then suddenly the earthquake comes. The seismologist will beat that politician. I told you so. That's the big. Everybody clap hands in the movie. But real life, at what point of time they will give a warning to you? It comes to you all the time. So the earthquake or tsunami, everything gives a warning. Sometimes nothing comes abruptly. It is how we feel, how we take action when a warning comes into picture, whether it's blood pressure, or hypertension, or anything else. This we have to understand that there is no single number for any kind of a disease. The range is given, but the onset is already started a long time back. It is not something new. So what happens is any complex system will have multiple causes. So what is integrative functional medicine, which is started in 2016 in the Western countries? India is slowly coming up. I was trying to find out from India. So some curriculum, I went to a lot of curriculums in the hospitals. I really looked at number 27 different universities in the US, UK, Australia, and India, looking at their curriculum to find out what they're doing with integration medicine. I don't want to give my conclusions yet at this point of time. I'll submit a report later, as I'm going to write more papers on this. But surprising, a lot of surprise with the 27 universities of curriculum. So in any common systems, one thing is important. There is no one single cause. We have to, the way you do a complex system, anything happens in life, not just for health or anything, is you have a multiple diseases, look at, there'll be 6 or 7 causes will be there. Analyze it deeply. Why? Then you reduce down to 4. You analyze further. You reduce to 2. Finally, you come to a one single underlying root cause. You find a solution for it, your disease is resolved. You'll be all right. Systemically good. Same thing happens to your people worked in manufacturing plant here will understand what I'm talking about. An engine may not be functioning well. The quality of the output products may be low. It is coming with the different specifications. They'll go to all the different causes and find one root cause problem. They'll solve it. The machine will be working fine. Same thing like a manufacturing plant. Same thing applies to human body. That we have to understand this. So do not let somebody says diabetes or hypertension. Don't do the mistake I did when I started. Immediately, the doctor advised me to take tablets. I started taking tablets. I could have tried for some time to understand what it is. So medical treatment methodology today. So the last few years you're talking about from 2016, regenerative functional medicine and wellness doctor concepts are growing. But the picture, what I told you, is not changed as yet. Just imagine one question here for all of you. Based on Statista data, the last year, 2023, the global revenue for pharmaceutical and related medical industry is $1.6 trillion. Only 15 countries in the entire world has a GDP more than 1.6 trillion. Out of the 195 countries recorded in the world in the UN, 15 countries have 1.6 trillion above. 180 countries have a GDP of less than 1.6 trillion. The pharmaceutical industries is much having higher revenue than those GDP. The funds invested in medical research in 2023 was $272 billion. 95% to 19% of this money went for curing, finding a tablet for cure, not for prevention. That is what is important to know. So why? On the side, for you to understand, irony and paradox. Highly renowned, popular, celebrated. I know a lot of people go for stock market and say, I have this, I will follow this, I'll follow this. They celebrate people who have made billions of dollars in stock market. But what they do, if you go and understand, I've gone through some of the portfolio of the stock billionaires, about 8 of them. I did a lot of research on the available literature. And they invest money in junk food industry. They invest money in pharmaceutical and hospitals. What they say, go to my restaurant and eat. Right? Get sick, go to hospital for pharmaceutical for tablets. And then if this doesn't go well, you go to hospitals. In all the 3, I make money. These are the popular, celebrated investors. Just for you to think, is always vested interest. We have to understand it's us. I again tell you, nothing outside. We have to be careful of what we are doing about our body. So why can't we, already this slide, we've seen it. I just wanted to remind it and brought it back here. I'll push it forward. Can we live our own blue zone? Why cannot we create our own blue zone to live 100 years? Recently, there was a big celebration in the world. The first time an husband and wife who married for 80 years crossed 100 years. Before, the husband will cross or a wife will cross. One of them will die before 100. Very rarely, both the husband and wife cross 100. Which year I forgot. Somewhere with the last 5 years, one couple married for 80 years crossed 100 years. So why can't all of us, both husband and wife, cross 100 years with healthy life, not in pain, suffering, and somebody cleaning ourselves every day? No, it's healthy life 100. Why can't we create it? It is possible practically and theoretically. There are only 4 steps to achieve that. That is, the first one is to keep high energy throughout our life. If we kind of reduce our available useful energy, then there's a problem. They are exercise, food and sleep, social behavior sciences, and brain stimulation. That allow to keep your entropy low and keep your high energy very high. Very simple. As I told you, it is only us. The food we eat is us. Exercise is us. Social behavioral sciences balance is us. Brain stimulation is us. Who else has to come? We can do it ourselves, right? That is why this doesn't start at the age of 60. This lecture, this discussion, this paper I'm doing is not for 60 plus years. This is for people at the age of 20, for 15. Parents listening, encouraging people to have bad food like soda drinks, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, lot of burgers, have to think twice, because they are making the entropy higher for the children. I'll tell you about later about it a little more, but you have to remember that. So our biological age should be low, irrespective of our chronological age. We'll keep on aging every day. That is number of years calculated from the birth. But you can keep our biological age very young by doing these 4 simple things. So what is the most important criteria for keeping us healthy up to 100 plus years? Is the food we eat. Remember, the first thing makes it food. Everything else in this world, physical exercise, social behaviors, even if you are Buddha, we're the perfect balanced, social balanced person. Peace and serenity, you have everything like Buddha. But even then, you need to have good food, because Buddha died by a poisoned bad food at the age of 80. He didn't die of old age because even before death, he was walking 6 to 8 kilometers a day at the age of 80. He never stopped. And he was giving a sermon of 4 to 5 hours every day, even at the age of 80. He died because of food, nothing else. So even you have the best social balance and science in your body, you do physical exercise bad. If the food is bad, everything becomes bad. So if the food, the physical exercise, social balance are kept on the top list, you can keep the entropy low, energy will be automatically high. Then the medication can be reduced. At some point of time, it may not be needed even up to the age of 100 and plus. So that is why our health span is under our control. No one else. Nobody is forcing food into your mouth. It is we crave for food and eat. We have a lot of food today in the world. But it's up to us to control how much you want to eat, how much you don't want to eat. So now, Mr. Gopi, the time is running out. You want me to
Yes, sir.
continue? Or how do you want to do it, Mr. Gopi? You can ask everybody.
Now, how many more slides are there, sir?
I mean, I can keep talking about it for a long time. It's an interesting topic, but it's all about everybody's time, right? I can rush and try to close it out faster.
Yeah, please go on, sir.
Okay.
Sir, you can go ahead, sir. No, Gopi sir, he can go again. Don't worry. We will
Okay.
listen.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Quite interesting.
So as for the medical science today, a lot of research has happened, right? We have to understand, a lot of medical research is happening today. Hundreds of labs across the world. So they have listed out 9 of the hallmarks of aging. I don't want to go through each and every one of them, highly medical, you get bored actually, but I'm going to take only 2 because what they're saying, if any of these 10 items get spoiled, you'll start aging. Any one of them, not just one. So I'll take only, because each and everything has got importance, but it'll take long time and it may get bored. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to take only 2 most important things which we can control. When you are born, we are born with our genes. They cannot be modified. Now, medical science is trying to even modify your gene, which has come with your birth. But as of today, that cannot be changed. Gene therapy, they're trying, but it's not successful 100%. So our genes are born with us. You and me cannot control it. So, for example, if your bad genes are from birth, like type 1 diabetes, it is not from something else. Type 2 is coming from lifestyle practices, but type 1 is a genetic issue. And there's also a gene for women. It comes from the birth that can cause a blood cancer for them in the later life. So these are examples, right? So we cannot change that. There's a gene coming out from your birth. But our epigenome is extremely critical. The epigenome can be controlled by our lifestyle practices. That can be controlled to sustain body's energy. And most of the diseases you see in your life, including diabetes and hypertension, liver failure, heart issues, and problems, is happening because epigenome starts to malfunction. What is its job? The job of epigenome is very simple, sir. You have millions and millions of cells in the body, right? And every cell is a DNA. And every cell has got the same structure. There's no difference to the structure of the cells. But epigenome knows that, hey, these cells, you are the skin cells, go and repair the skin. You are the liver cells, go and repair the liver cells. You are the heart cells, go to the heart and repair the heart cells. Epigenome is a logistics manager. I'll simply say, you go to Chennai, you go to Delhi, you go to Bombay, you go to America, you go to London. He's the one distributing the logistics function. So when it becomes wrong, when epigenome starts malfunctioning, what happens? You'll mistake. You'll ask some liver cells to go to skin, some skin cells go to heart, some others go to pancreas, something else goes to kidney. So remind now, your skin cells is coming. Your main job of a skin cell is to ensure that your skin is very smooth and strong and hard so that it does not blister or grinch or whatever, or shrink. Now, if you get only 80% skin cell, 10% liver cell, 5% pancreas cell, and 5% heart cells, what is going to happen now? The efficiency of the skin cells is going to go down by 20%, right? So the remaining 20 cells don't know what to do. They don't understand skin. So they create a lot of confusion on the skin. The result is you have a shrinking skin, blisters in the skin, you have problems. So that is what epigenome is happening. Same thing happens to liver, same thing happens to kidney, because they get confused because of mixed cells coming without understanding the responsibilities. So epigenome that is what can be controlled by doing your food habits, physical exercise, brain stimulation, and social behavioral sciences. You can control your epigenome and keep the epigenome very fresh and energetic throughout your life. Because what happens is when epigenome loses that information, it's come from not your birth, man. Your knowledge of the DNA, knowledge of the cells comes from billions years of evolution. Our brain started to develop 550 million years ago. Our intelligence started about 3 billion years ago. It's not just come from your father and mother. People always say who created this intelligence? My father and mother. Is good. They gave you birth to you. But your brain and intelligence comes from 3 billion and 550 million years. And that loss of information should not be allowed. And that is the fundamental thing. So what is aging is the disease. The disease is nothing but loss of information to epigenome so that it starts malfunctioning. Then you start aging. If your epigenome is working perfectly, even at the age of 100, you will live very healthy and happy. So the next one, the third element is the social behavioral science. A lot of people talked about it. In fact, thousands of years of wisdom comes from philosophers across the world. I can tell you a small thing. We know everybody listens to Bhagavad Gita, right? We always hear Bhagavad Gita from our young age. I read Bhagavad Gita from the age of 8. People give me books. I read a lot. Even today, I read about 10 books a month. I read a lot, but I never understood. 15 years, 18 years, even 30, 35 years, I read Bhagavad Gita of everybody. Vivekananda, Bharatiya, and Adi Shankaras, Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada's, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's, everybody's. But never understood that. But then around 2-3 years back, I started reading it much better. And for God's grace, maybe my maturity levels have changed. I was starting to understand Bhagavad Gita better. Now I wrote a book on Bhagavad Gita for the 21st century generation, ready for publishing another 2-3 months. An amazing philosophy. And for me, Bhagavad Gita should be taught in the schools from the age of 7 or 8. It's a wonderful philosophy. It talks about everything on this. And every philosopher from Aristotle to Socrates, anybody talked about social behavior science. We forgot it. We allowed ourselves for others to take control of ourselves through bite control. The bite control is the one that governs us from birth to death. We'll talk about bite control later. But the bite control consists 4 things: behavior, information, thought, and emotion. Just imagine yourself, right? None of us will live our life. Every one of us, honestly speaking, we are living our life to fulfill others' expectations. When you're young age, you lived your life to make sure that your parents are happy. When you went to school, you make sure that your friends and teachers are happy. When you go into college, your girlfriends and your friends and your professors are happy about it. When you come to an employment, you wanted to make sure that your employee, HR is definitely happy because your performance appraisal is good, you get a good bonus. Everywhere, even today, you want to make sure your children are happy. Then you want grandchildren to be happy. So where do you live your life? All along, you are controlled by bite. That's important because of this issue. So what is happening today is our function of the human body, medical sciences, and the social sciences. All 3 are working independently. There's no connection at all. So what is the solution? This is where the transformational integrated life enrichment model, although medicine calls it that integrated functional medicine, I don't want to use the functional, it is a function. When it goes to enrichment, that is where you really grow. So my model is TILE, Transformational Integrated Life Enrichment Model. I'm writing a paper to a medical journal. The first time they rejected, saying that I'm not a doctor, I'm an engineer. They will only accept from MD. I'm fighting with them that this paper has to go. Give me a justified reasons for rejecting a paper from an engineer. I'm still fighting, but I'll try to win at some point of time. So the solution is we have to integrate all the 3 very effectively, efficiently by doing some work. And that work we have to do. It is us, nobody else. So this is what is happening. So now I don't want to take entropy since time is running lost. I will just quickly say something to you about entropy. Simple example of entropy. I talked about car, your house. Same thing. You can transfer heat from heat to cold, but not cold to heat. Similarly, you can pump, water can flow from a mountain to a valley, but you cannot pump water from your ground floor to your tank on the top of the building because of the second law of thermodynamics. But by doing some different, but what we see, entropy makes everything disorderly, right? But what we see around, world is different. Everything is orderly in the world.
It will take 1 or 2 days moment.
Your car is good, your house is good, you are able to make the hot object cold in a refrigerator, you're using a pump to pump the water above the ground. Everything is working very orderly. So does it mean that second law of thermodynamics is wrong? Not at all, because if you do some work on it from using an external source, the work will decrease the entropy, which will make the things orderly. So the fundamental concept is you reduce your entropy in the body by doing some work, which is food you're eating, the physical exercise, a good sleep, social behavior sciences, brain stimulation. All of them will keep the entropy low in the body. The energy will be high, and you'll be actually not violating the second law of thermodynamics, but you stay within the rules of the game, right? So this is the game actually. So I will remove all these things. I'll move forward. We can discuss later. But very important, when you are young, your entropy is low. That's why your energy is very high. When you become older, your entropy starts decreasing. You lose your energy level. That's why you become very tired. And that is a fundamental concept for us to understand it actually. So if you look at entropy, when you're at a birth, your entropy is maximum. Your energy is maximum, entropy is very low. But when you die, your energy level is, entropy is maximum, your energy level is zero. When you die, no energy at all, but entropy is maximum. So this entropy and energy line crosses around the age of 30 years of age. Our aim by the process of integration, whether it's a functional medicine or transformative medicine, to move this point of integration into 60 years. When you move to 60 years, you can live 100 years very healthy. So this is a fundamental concept. When you move it towards the older as age as possible, 60, 70, 80, then your life will be better and live happily actually, right? So in the energy itself, there are two types of energy. That's very important. Next 15 minutes, we'll try to cover it up. One is the energy you're getting from physical food you're eating, food, water, and oxygen. Other one is the inner energy produced by your inner peace, stability, harmony without bias, fear, and anxiety. Now, like the consciousness, inner energy is the internal force of the body, and it's not scientifically explained. Now it's a controversial because what will happen? Medical science will reject the concept of inner energy. They already rejected the concept of consciousness. A lot of medical research is coming up. Scientists are writing now. They're writing it saying that there's no consciousness in the body. But a lot of metaphysicists oppose them. There's a lot of argument, debate all over the world. There is consciousness, there is no consciousness. So, but medical science has not proved any scientifically, but like medical science, they also clear the inner energy. But let me tell you something about very important before we close. Who gave Buddha to attain enlightenment, to live a biggest kingdom, one of the richest kingdom of the world? He was going to be crowned as a king, and to leave that richness and go as a beggar and a saint and become enlightenment. At the age of 80, a Japanese gentleman called Yuichiro, he went to Mount Everest. Now at the age of 84, he wanted to try again. He said, we'll try again at the age of 90. A girl called Neard, at the age of 64, she swam 53 hours continuously from Cuba to Florida in the shark-infested Gulf Stream waters. I don't want to talk about it. Gulf Stream waters, I'll talk about it when you have time. Something amazing. She swam in Gulf Stream waters. And a girl called Suprabha, age of 53, she ran a 3,100 miles. 49 days she was running continuously. Race, and she won. 49 days she ran continuously, only for taking rest. They allow that rest for food and toilet and all these things, right? Beyond that, she has to run continuously. How this daunting war on your hearts? I agree. Somebody will argue with me that is only 1 in million cases, man. He cannot be, but there's a book in 1970s. If you get a chance, read this book. It's called One Star Revolution. Beautiful and natural farming. It came when the green revolution was coming up all over the world. People are using these artificial seeds, synthetic seeds. This gentleman from Japan wrote this book on natural farming. And here his statement comes, if one straw is standing, why cannot all the straws? And he proved natural farming is success. Similarly, it applies to women. If one woman can do it, why can't all the humans? Every one of us has the same inner energy. God never changed anything, whether you are born in America or India or Australia or Singapore or Hong Kong. Everybody had the same energy. It is us. We have to understand it. A question may come, what is my experience on inner energy? Explain. All of you may ask the question. Fair question. I'm not going to answer about me. I'm going to ask you to answer yourself. Open your mind. All of you feel the inner energy. First, think of your mother. Especially in the 70s and 80s, where economic conditions were very bad for most of the 60, 70-year-old people now. Where did she get the energy to manage and care for the entire family with the minimum money fathers were bringing? How many women had managed the family very honorably when the husband died or ran away with another woman? Just imagine how many women did it. Think of your own life. How many incidents from your age? We are already now 60. Many of you have grandchildren. Many times in difficult situations, something sparkled in your mind. You solve the problem yourself. Think of your children now. They're having extensive peer competition across the world today. You keep changing every day, but they are managing beautifully, right? How many of our children are beautifully doing something on their own? We are so proud of them. How they manage it. First important thing, we should stop getting impressed with celebrities and popularity figures. Because every one of us is a hero and we can do better things in life. Every one of us at each moment is walking a journey filled with uncertainties. You don't know what is going to happen, risk, unknowns, but still walk with faith and belief. This faith and belief is not coming from a saint or astrologer or belief in God. No, not religion. It's your own belief. Whatever you do, this is a big science again. When somebody comes and tells me that this astrologer told me and it will happen, there's a big science behind it. That we can discuss it later in another paper. But that is inner energy. If you unleash the energy to any level, then you do it. But we cannot because of the bite control. Bite is the one which is controlling us. If you come out of the bite, your social, behavioral sciences and balance will change. All right? That is why science or medical science is not absolute. That is very important for us to understand. All right? So just an example of this thing. I don't know if I have time to it, but a lot of scientific myths are there in medical science. Somebody said full fat milk is bad for health. And then everybody stopped buying full fat milk, all run for the skimmed milk, paid a lot of money, and drank the tasteless skimmed milk all the time in coffees and desserts. But there's no need for that, because the reality today is that milk is not actually so bad. I written this a lot of things here, but as long as it's moderate and you're able to get your doctor's advice, milk has got benefits. All right. It is not good for some people, but not for everybody. It's not a common thing for everybody. Milk is bad. No, milk is bad for some people because of lactose intolerance or allergy, or they're difficult to digest the protein of the milk, whatever, right? But doesn't mean that we have to forget milk altogether. Same thing with fat. Somebody said fat is health. Everybody started to stop fat. They all ran to carbohydrates and protein. And somebody says low-fat cookie. I know some people, oh, this is a low-fat cookie, man. I can eat any amount. But it's so bad with so many things. So fat, again, there are 4 types of fats. Monosaturated, polyunsaturated, saturated, trans fats. The top 2, monosaturated, poly, are very good. As long as you eat moderate levels, they're very good for your cholesterol, and you can eat with doctor's advice. But saturated fats and trans fats are bad. Saturated fats, you can eat moderate quantities. As long as your body accepts it, your cholesterol levels are good, you can eat it. But trans fats, you should run away from it. But what happens today? If all the ultra-processed food has got trans fats. And that's what we eat. We run away from good fat, monosaturated and polyunsaturated. And then we go eating trans fat, which is the worst thing. So the people who made the advertisement fat is bad, they're making huge money from carbohydrates, everything out. I'll tell you a simple story about the sugar, the chocolate. Why the children or anybody, you put a chocolate in the mouth, it melts and so beautifully, and you crave for it, an ice cream. You know why? All this fat in the chocolate or whatever it happens, that carbohydrates and sugar is exactly made at the melting point of 37 degrees centigrade. What is the body's temperature? 37 degrees centigrade. The tongue is at 37 degrees centigrade. The chocolate is the 37 degrees melting point. You put that in, it melts immediately because its melting point is at that time. That is why you feel that beautiful heavenly experience and makes you crave more and more. It's all manufacturing junk and advertisement junk. You have to understand that, then you'll eat good food. Just for you to know about science and medical science, FDA approved 1,310 drugs up to 2021. They removed 210 as unusable, cancelled it, the license, even the antibiotics and medicine. So it is always experimental basis, it keeps going around. So to close it out today, what is important for us to understand I created an equation, mathematical equation of happiness and human energy. Based on a lot of research, I don't want to go through the big calculation of how I arrived this equation, but the answer is this is the formula. If you follow this formula, you will have a human energy maintained at a very high level with a low entropy all the time. Because of time, I don't want to run through it, but most importantly, I just want to run through this thing. This equation says simply three things. Keep your goals and ambitions. This you remember, this particular slide is enough. This is the meaning of this equation. I have the number for every K, G, E, everything I've done already, but I'm trying to patent it now in the US. So once it is patented, I will release it to the market. But what is important is, what is the variable? Goals and ambitions, our expectations, our beliefs, our needs. Keep it low and reasonable. Emotional quotient, keep it low and reasonable. Your intelligent quotient and compassion quotient, keep it high. Or inner energy, develop it high. If you keep this both high, you keep this low and reasonable, you will have a very high human energy. Our entropy will be kept low. And this will keep you to go forward. So I don't want to go through each and every one of them, but this is all very interesting point to discuss about it. But one important thing, from the age of 0 to 14 years, your brain is still growing, right? 7 to 14 is extremely critical because the children get into puberty and raging hormones, leading to a lot of impulse and that. That is why teenagers are irrational, irritable, reckless. They see every adult as a useless jerk. There's nothing wrong, it's coming from the hormone. And this crucial time, what happens? Parents and family and society, they're afraid, they get fear. They induce highly biased belief and desire from the first 7 years and 14 years into the child's brain. And because of every child who goes up into adult, they develop unalterable beliefs in their mind. Like universe is centered on you, God is keeping a record of your actions, superiority of your caste and religion over others, importance of money and attitude, everything out. That this creates a belief system in the mind, and that drives you all your life. Unnecessarily, you hate people, you have agony or something else, you don't understand, and that creates sort of signals, is stress to your body, and that affects your inner energy. So information control again is to manipulate you. Since time is short, I'm running around, but it controls you and manipulates you. Nobody gives the right information. You go to any media, I can challenge you now. We are about whatever number of people here. All of us go and search for something in Google now. Everybody will get a different answer. It is only designed, Google decides artificial intelligence based on your profile, what it will give you. I have tested it myself with my friends in 5 different countries, 5 different profiles. We typed the same search and everybody got different answers. I can challenge you can do the same thing. May not be the same family, but friends, you do it from different places, you'll see a difference actually. So deception is the biggest tool to control you. That's what the information is about. Thought control. The whole idea is to thought process to be stopped, stripped complete. Nobody should think about it. You follow a cult culture. Just believe. That's all. People always say, no, just believe me. I know what I'm doing. Just trust me and do what I'm telling you. Finished. Everywhere. from organizations to corporates to politicians to national leaders, everybody says the same thing. So it is control your thought and take action against it. Loss is emotional. This is one thing we have to read it now, 2 minutes. Everybody controls you around, right? Your parents, your family, society want you to be obedient, respectful, cooperative, and successful. Caste and religion says you have to follow your culture, rules, and practices. Don't questions, no questions to be asked. Government wants you to be obedient for law abiding. They want to manipulate you. Social media is filled with very unverified, biased, TRP rating, manipulated news. Capitalism and commerce wants you to be consumerism, material possessions, spend and borrow money. Now, fear is used to manipulate. Example, fear, common guilt. All of you experience this. Somebody will come and say historical guilt, Jesus crucifixion. So Christians are controlled by that. Mistakes of forefathers, astrologers control you on that. Identification guilt, past guilt, social guilt. How many of us are suffering? I'm sure that every one of us will be suffering with any of the guilt here. Same thing happens with the common fear journeys. Many countries and many politicians use a common enemy to bind people to that. Fear of sin and hell and Satan. God's punishment. It's all used against people. Common joy journeys. Simple. Find joy in spending money. Material possessions. Expensive brands. You can buy something for 200 rupees outside, but you buy the same thing at 20,000 rupees in a branded shop. They make it. Binge eating, smoking and alcohol, parties and vices, you name it, is all controlled for emotional. When this bite happens, what happens? Your expectations go up, your needs go up, and you suffer at the end of the day with a very high goals and ambitions. And remember the formula, you lose your intelligent quotient. Your intelligent quotient is lost because it is whatever development of intelligence you have, if you have cognitive biases and beliefs, your intelligence will come down. There's no challenge on that. Nobody can challenge this particular aspect of cognitive biases. You have about 12 cognitive biases. You can learn for yourself, or I can, in the second paper, I'm writing this cognitive biases. And if you are stuck with cognitive biases and beliefs, your intelligence will come down. So obviously, your inner energy will be reduced. So the compassion, intelligent quotient, and emotional quotient has to be combined, integrated to reduce your entropy. When your entropy is low all along, at the age of 90 or 100, your health energy will be very high. All right. So we already discussed about it. And one thing on the inner energy is not always positive. Inner energy can be dangerous because look at Buddha, his inner energy made him to enlightenment, but Alexander Hitler, they were destructive. What made them different? Buddha was compassion and empathy. Alexander, greed for power and authority. So it's important that compassion quotient, the inner energy, is controlled to do service to humanity, not to affect humanity. That's a very important aspect for us to understand. So this is the final thing. The final slide is we should not shrink our brain. These are the action. I can forward this to everybody who's interested. I also put something called brain energy, a big slide. It's available. It's free. I can send it by email to everybody who's interested. Write it to me. I'll send an email to all of you. But this can be elaborated heavily. But think about it. If you do the green ones, it is good for your brain. Do the bad ones, it's bad for your brain. You shrink your brain, you will lose your inner energy. You increase your entropy. You will get diseases. You will age. You get into all the trouble because whatever happens in the body, as I told you, the most important, the energy is controlled by brain. So brain has to be stimulated and well kept all our life. That is our. So please look at this. Ensure that your brain is stimulated all along. Do not waste your brain just because you're retired. You say, I don't want to do anything. I just want to watch TV all day, watch a newspaper, talk to bullshit, gossip. Take out all these things. There are so many things we can do in our life. Life is not short. 70 years, 80 years is something great you can do. Achieve so many things in your life. For your information, I started 2 startups companies now at the age of 62. I'm looking for investment and funds running around everywhere in the world. And I want to work up to the age of 90 with the same energy. So that's why I started new startup companies now at this age instead of retiring. Do something, keep your mind occupied. And the last one is that freedom and choice are the 2 blessings of existence. Without them, there's no meaning for our life. Today, we have a choice to choose. You want to live longer with the quality health span or disappear into the world of medicine, support and pain, suffering. Even you need somebody to go to the toilet, somebody to clean your shit in the bed. You want to do this life? Tomorrow, it may be too late. There may not be any choice. You will be forced to accept what it is. So if you choose to live, increase your health span and go beyond 100 plus, maybe you are the second husband and wife to cross 100 years in the world together, is the time to take right actions. Age is not an obstacle. We already said 84 years that Ichiro is going to Mount Everest. We at the age of 50 saying, I'm tired, man, I don't want to do anything. I don't want to go for a walk. I don't want to go for an exercise. I don't want to dance. We want to eat a lot, but we don't want to do anything else apart from that. Every party, every festival is eating, eating, eating. We just watch movies or play cards, sit something, do something with sitting. We don't move the body. Age is not an obstacle. Encompass a purpose in life. That is what is important. Any purpose in life, irrespective of what it is, and believe that life is long enough, not short. 70 to 90 years is not a short life, gentlemen. You have to understand that. Let us not throw away the gift of life by inaction and ignorance. Remember time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Gopi. Sorry, I took some more time, but
No, it's okay, sir. It was an excellent session, so no worries. We'll just keep this floor open for question and answers, sir. Participants, you may please unmute and ask your questions fast, please.
கோபி சார் அகைன் ஹேட்ஸ் ஆஃப். நீங்க சொல்லிட்டு இருந்தீங்கன்னா அன்னைக்கு காலையில ரெகுலரா சண்டே தோட்டத்து போயிட்டு வருவேன். கொஞ்சம் லேட் ஆயிடுச்சு. உண்மையிலே தேங்க்ஸ் டு கோபி சார் ஆக்சுவலி. சார் முத்துக்குமார் சார், ஐ எம் நாதன் 84 கெமிக்கல். நீங்க எந்த பேட்ச் ஆக்சுவலா?
நானும்
84A batch.
ஓ, நீங்க இவர் நவதீன ராகவன் செட் பிளாக் செப்டம்பர். ஓ, வெரி குட்.
No, அது 82. நாங்கெல்லாம்
84 last batch.
84 last 5 year.
ஓ, 84 அது நாங்க வந்து 84. ஓகே 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 ஓகே. ஃபண்டாஸ்டிக் சார். எனக்கு ரெண்டு கொஸ்டின். இந்த எபிசோட் சொல்றீங்கல்ல, எபிசோட் இஸ் கண்ட்ரோலிங் ஆல் த நர்வ்ஸ் இது சொல்றீங்கல்ல, ஸோ அதுதானே இப்போ நம்ம இவர் டெஸ்ட்ல பிரெயின்ல ஒரு இதை இன்ஜெக்ஷன் பண்ணிட்டு அதை கண்ட்ரோல் பண்றது தானே இஸ் டெஸ்டிங். ஆம் ஐ ரைட்?
Correct, sir. Epigenome is trying to control the epigenome. Yes.
ஓகே ஓகே. அந்த டெக்னாலஜி எதுவும் உங்களுக்கு இருக்கா?
Ilama,
You have
technology
tried
is
anything?
on an experimental basis because it is not proven. They are trying
Acha,
to
acha.
get into it, but it's not proven yet, not approved yet. It's only on a
Oh,
step.
okay.
This is
Okay,
announced
okay.
earlier enough for interesting for funding and research.
Okay, okay, fine, okay. And one more thing, you start about the Gita, you are writing on your own way. I think the book, when it will be ready, sir, actually?
It's ready to publication. Another 2 months, it will be published.
Oh, it is in India or in Dubai?
In India, it's going to get published in Chennai.
Okay, okay. For your information, my brother, he is the Nightingale, Srinivas Finance. Recently, he gave the Gita book, earlier original version, to Modi ji.
Very good. Thank
Yeah,
you.
if you want any printing idea, he is a master in that way how to reach in the airport. That cost is very good. Anything else you help, you please refer me. I will take into you.
Okay, I'll take your phone number. I'll take your phone number.
Please. Or you give the phone number, we'll finish it. And one more thing, that one start revolution you told me, no, Japanese book.
Yes, it's English book. Made in English by Japanese author.
Acha. Can you give actually about? Okay, we can discuss later on. Thank you. Really good session, and definitely we all live for 100 years.
Thank you, sir.
With wife.
Thank you,
sir.
Okay. Thank you, brother. Thank you, Gopi sir. I will keep in.
Hello, this is Vishwanath. I am 82 batch. Sir, have you read this book, The New Wellness Revolution by Paul Zane Pilser?
Yes.
Okay, that was a big turning point for me.
But not the full book. I only read some reviews actually.
I have read the full book. In fact,
you are muted, sir. We can't hear you.
Paul Zane Pilser. I read about 10 years back. I've gifted it to many people, that book. Basically, it says the doctors are the wrong people actually we are going to, because they actually do sickness care. they do not know health, what they call as health care. Actually, they are not talking of wellness care. Most people make the mistake. If you tell healthy ideas, they say, I'll ask my doctor. Actually, for the doctor, it is detrimental for somebody to be healthy. They want people to be sick. Only then their business will be successful. Their hospital will be successful. So it is like going to a mechanic with a broken down car. Because if you buy a brand new car and tell, please make it into a sports car, 99% of the mechanics will not know what to do. You need very specialized approach for people to make you healthy. Unfortunately, such people are not, I mean, do not have a mostly yoga science or alternative medicine science, or people who are in nutraceuticals. Unfortunately, the society does not recognize them. In fact, even if you suggest a good vitamin, they say we'll check with the doctor. That is the first thing people say. Or healthy food. So I just want to share with you. So my wife and we practice. We eat only once a day. And so we have been practicing for many years.
Fasting and very nice.
Yeah,
okay.
we do. So we do a lot of things. But how do I reach to the big audience is a big puzzle for me, because கேலி பண்ணுவாங்க. இவனுக்கு என்னடா, இவன் போய் கல்யாணத்துக்கெல்லாம் போனா, இவன் வந்து எங்கேயாவது மேய்ஞ்சிட்டு வந்துருவான்டா, நம்ம போய் சாப்பிடலாம். The whole idea is to gorge. So how do you reach to the bigger audience, especially my friends and who are actually very intelligent, very smart? How do you extend everybody's life? Do you have an idea how to reach to people?
Thank you very much. Nicola, absolutely right, actually. That's why the integrative functional medicine is coming up in a big way, and it's basically wellness doctor life. 2016 official courses have started in the UK, Western Europe, and US universities now. So people having an MBBS and MD can take a course on integrative functional medicine that talks about wellness. அது பண்றாங்க. Secondly, வந்து நிறைய lot of doctors are setting up podcasts to spread the awareness of not going to the doctor, exactly as you said, that we can actually find the root cause of a problem and resolve it. There is no need to take tablets and medicines immediately for any disease. So the awareness is spreading, but the challenge is the attention span and catching and making people to come and listen. If you look at, for example, YouTube, I did some research on that. If you look at some music entertainment singer, some meaningless songs with a lot of noise, there'll be 10 million people view that. But the best doctor from US, the neuroscientist, his talk will be about 50,000 people will view it. So it's an interest for people, right? And we always ignore our health as a human being all the time. And that is one of the reasons for us actually to ignore that. Unless people start feeling that health is important, my body is important, I only can do something about it, this will not change that. So that awareness has to start from schools, not from anywhere else. It has to start from the schools.
Hello, sir. This is Jayanti here. I'm doing a course now on nutrition. Why? Because 2 years back, I was identified autoimmune, and they gave me some heavy dosage of medicine. And unfortunately, my uncle, my daughter-in-law, everybody are doctors at home. When I said, looking into the medicine side effects, I didn't want to take the medicine. They said, are you doing some suicidal attempt? What is it that you're trying to do? I said, looking into the side effects, let me die of autoimmune. I'm not going to die of medicines. So I took a bold decision and I underwent this, completely acupuncture treatment. But acupuncture, of course, it was a placebo, it helped me. But the lifestyle and the nutrients and the food habits that I completely changed helped me. And when I go back with good results, whatever they did, I'm doing the same thing. Spending 2,000 rupees for the diagnosis that the doctors are asking me to do. And when I show them the results, the doctors are telling, oh, it has gone into remission. It will come back again. So let me put the medicines again when it comes back. When it is not there, when it is sleeping, why should I, wake up the line and then feel the pain of it, side effects. And I'm also now going to the integrated medical doctor here. There's something called Concept Clinic here, where he's too good. He is really good and he's identifying the root cause of everything. And all these only triggered me to do a nutrition course. And I have taken it as a vow to spread it. I have joined my gym also, and I'm doing a free awareness sessions on okay, medicine is good. As you rightly said, sir, it is not that we are against medicines, but is it really the chronic ailments? Should that be cured only with the medicines? Is there not an alternative? Your talk was really mind blowing, and a lot of inputs for me as a student of nutrition. I really bow to Gopi sir for insisting me to attend this session, sir. I mean,
Thank you very
I'm
much.
really thrilled and amazed. Maybe I'll get back to you later on to understand my own study of nutrition and how to spread this awareness. What I'm currently doing also.
Brilliant, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thank
thank you very much.
Kumar, this is Rajendran. How are you? And
Hey,
it was
hey,
a very wonderful and very powerful presentation. I hope we may have some more presentations with the slots maybe allotted by Gopi and Vishwanath. Take care. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Rajendran. Thank you very much, sir. You look very good actually for your age, Rajendran. Very nice, healthy.
Yeah, some of the tips what you are communicating, I am following. That is the thing, like Vishwanath and all.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Muthukumar, I would like to ask you one thing. Can I ask you now?
Yes, sir. Please, Swami.
Muthu, actually, like what you said for BP medicine. So unfortunately, I was misguided by the doctor, and when I was in Gurgaon in 2008. So I started taking that medicine. Even though my medical records, everything is pakka by God's grace, by following all good practices, exercise, everything. But is it advisable to stop the medicine or not?
That is a challenge because doctors, if you ask them, they will say, don't stop the medicine because you have to understand how your blood pressure changes every day. For both people of blood pressure and the sugar, the challenge is that it will keep changing a lot. Spikes and troughs keep coming up. Sugar example is a major one. So what we need to do is there are provisions in wellness that, as Madam Jayanti was telling, right? The concept doctors kind of thing. They have the wellness doctors have a holistic model. They will put a machine which measures your blood pressure 24 hours a day. Every 5 minutes or every 10 minutes, they will measure it. Then what they will do is they'll study and see at what stages of a day in 24 hours where blood pressure goes up and down, where it goes spikes and go down. For most people, they found the blood pressure spikes early in the morning.
Okay.
So when you get up in the morning after rest, the body has to be ready for you to get up and walk. So the liver produces more sugar and the heart starts to ready to function. It moves from one state to another state. So that is what is important. So if your spike is very high in a particular time, they may be afraid of removing the dose. But if it's a kind of a normal spike up and down when you're walking, when you're sitting and moving, if it comes within the normal range, they may ask you to stop. So unless you do this test, understanding, probably they'll advise you to do it for 2 weeks. So you have to attach that machine 2 weeks in your body.
Okay.
That's what Madam Jayanti was telling. A concept doctor, a wellness doctor, they will do it. But normal doctor will not do that.
Okay. Another one quick question. With regard to that entropy, where it is on the high scale, it is because of one of the reason what I feel is the night duties, what people are following. In fact, the younger generation, a lot of people, because of this corporate structure, they are forced to go for this, and which is naturally required for their livelihood. So in that case, what is the remedy available for those people, poor people, to reduce the entropy level?
The challenge is that your sleep pattern, because unfortunately what has happened is all this night shift, everything started only after 1995. For nearly our humans are, like say, last 30,000 years, right? For nearly 30,000 years, we lived even up to 1970s. If you look at it, more than 70% of the world did not have power, electricity in the night. Everybody started getting around. So for nearly 30,000 years, our ancestors were sleeping in the night and working in the daytime. So our what they call it as a complete cycle of biological terms. Night rest gives you the best thing to distribute the nutrients in the body. But when you work in the night, the body nutrients are not getting distributed properly in the body. Your entropy, as you correctly mentioned, go up. And even if they sleep in the daytime, the body does not know what is happening, so it won't distribute. So nighttime when they're working, why you sleep in the night? When you sleep in the night, your brain works, everything is rest. The body uses a full energy to distribute the nutrients throughout your body to all the cells. But if you work in the night, body requires energy to work. And so the nutrients, that's where the problem comes in. So today there is no replacement for that, Swami. Night sleep is still there. Day sleep is not enough because they get disturbed, they don't get a good sleep. Most of them sleep only 4 or 5 hours in the daytime, and they also eat and sleep, and then breakfast and lunch they have to get up. It's not a good solution. Night shift is always a problem, even today.
Okay, thank you.
வாழ்த்துக்கள்
முத்துக்குமார்
குமார், நன்றாக பேசினாய். உன் கருத்துக்கள், புதிய முயற்சிக்கு என்னுடைய மனமார்ந்த பாராட்டுக்கள். எனக்கு 70 வயசாயிடுத்து. இனிமே நீ சொன்ன புதிய முயற்சிகளை நான் பயன்படுத்துறேன். வாழ்க வளமுடன்.
Okay, thank you.
என்றும் நலமுடன்.
Thank you very much.
முத்துக்குமார் பாலசுப்ரமணியன் எலக்ட்ரிக்கல் பிரான்ச்.
Yes, சொல்லுங்க.
தெரியுதான்னு தெரியலண்ணா. We used to have a pre-university course in Vivekananda also. விவேகானந்தால இருந்து நம்ம ஒண்ணா படிச்சிட்டு இருக்கோம்.
Correct.
So what you have said, this presentation is very quite interesting. நான் ஒரு 5-6 வருஷமா இன்டர்மிட்டன்ட் ஃபாஸ்டிங் தான் 2 வேளை தான் சாப்பிட்டுட்டு இருக்கேன். எதுவும் இது வரைக்கும் எதுவும் மெடிகேஷன் எதுக்குமே கிடையாது.
Fantastic. Very good.
Nothing, no pressure, sugar எதுவுமே இல்ல. So I just suggest other friends and relatives இதே மாதிரி பண்ணி சொல்லி, those who already have some sugar also, they have been reversed from that. இந்த மாதிரி ஃபுட் ஹேபிட்டை மாத்தினதுக்கு அப்புறம் அது இன்னைக்கு தான் பார்த்தேன். மிஸ்டர் விஸ்வநாதன் ஒரு வேளை தான் சாப்பிடுறாரு. அது எனக்கு புது நியூஸா இருக்கு. That's quite interesting.
People do 16-8, 18-6, 20 and 4. What they do is the 16-8 is within 8 hours, whatever time you choose is up to you. You eat all the food you want, 2 times, 3 times, or 1 time. Remaining 16 hours you fast. So most of people start from around 10 o'clock in the morning, have their breakfast, and then they finish by 7 o'clock, they use a dinner. And then from 7 to next day morning, 10 o'clock, they may have coffee or tea in between, but no solid food. That's 16-8. So also people do 18-6, 24 is also very common. People do that. It's a big practice. I also follow 16/8 at this point of time because I have diabetes. I don't want to go into 20/4 at this point of time. I follow 16/8. It really, really helps a lot, which I know my own experience. Very good, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, this is Dhanshekaran, 81 Chemical. Thank you so much. It was a nice one. I have a query. See, the brain starts shrinking over a period of as you get older. What is your opinion on that one, please?
That's correct.
Thank you.
Actually, your brain actually develops from your birth until the age of 22 to 24. Only around 24, your brain becomes 100% capable of handling everything. That is why if you look at around the 14, 15 years of age, your brain is only about 60-70% developed. Normally, teenagers are very irrational and irritating, and because of that mind, brain is developing. But then what happens is that before the brain is developed 100%, they got the puberty, sex hormones, raging hormones are working on them. So they do not know how to manage it. So unless they are pushed towards sports or any kind of very active physical activities, they sit at home all the time. And one of the common thing today is that people just sit and read all the time with minimum physical activities. So what they will do with the raging hormones, nature does not know that you have to go for educate to study tomorrow, you have a +2 exam tomorrow. Nature does not know that. So they have this one. But by 20 to 24, the brain is fully developed, ready for it. And then for 8 years, between 22 to 24 to around 32, you're actually at the peak experience. You can do anything you want in your life in that 8 years' time. If you look at all the world great leaders, great successors, people like Steve Jobs and Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, you name it, Buddha, all these people established their greatness only at the age of 22 to 30. At around 45, 50, they achieved their peak, but they laid the foundation that particular time. As you correctly pointed out, around 30 years of age or 32, the brain starts to declining. Brains are declining and starts shrinking. So if you do not stimulate your brain by various activities, as per my last slide, you will allow that to shrink. By around 45 to 50, you will start declining more and more. And that brain shrinking actually leads to dementia, Alzheimer, everything after the age of 60 by the time, but it's also onset. So you're right. It's important for us that we never allow the brain to shrink by doing proper brain exercises.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes, Mr. Gopi, no other questions. Back to you, Mr. Gopi. Thank you very much. Just for everyone, actually, if you can send me an email, if anybody wants any kind of information or data, or even that brain structures everything out, send this, please note down this email and send it to me. We will respond back to you within a short time. Thank you.
Sir, can I ask a question quickly?
Please, sir.
Sir, there was one concept, BITE was mentioned, BITE. I
Yes.
think some of us missed that. Just in case you could quickly explain that.
Okay, BITE is basically a control starts from your birth. BITE means is behavior control, information control, thought control, and emotional control. If you look around you, for example, everybody governs you, controls you by asking you to behave like this. This is your caste, this is your religion, this is your rules and regulations. You have to be obedient, you have to do this, you should not do this, you have to eat this, you have to sleep when, who you have to love, who you have to marry, who you have to, when you have to get a delivery, baby, everything is controlled. And information is controlled by everybody around you, politicians, news, media. They only give you what they want you to hear and control it. And the same thing happens with thought control. They want to control it, called by cult culture, us and their attitude. We are the superior, they are the lower, and our nation is a better nation than other nations. That's what Hitler did, right? Hitler created so much of thought control for Germany. They killed nearly millions and millions of Jews in the Second World War. And that's a thought control example. And emotional control is everything from your parents to teachers, society, community. They controls you everything. So basically, you don't live your life. You live for somebody else all the time. And that is what is the BITE control. But the BITE controls destroys your inner peace. So inner energy comes down because of that. Because of that, your entropy goes up. And that also becomes a reason for energy loss as well as aging.
Got it, sir. Yeah, you explained those individual concepts. I didn't realize that it was the acronym actually for that. Okay, got it. Thank you. Thank you for the explanation.
Gopi, can I have one question, please?
Yes, sir. Please
Gopi.
Go on.
You see, excellent lesson, Muthuji. I am now 73, but I try to always join one course or the other and try to be learner and till date. And I am feeling so agile and active always. So even, because of so much passion, I don't know whether it is right or wrong, but I try to keep myself totally occupied, almost 8 hours sleep and 16 hours I am occupied. So is it right? Or I should take now rest or something like this?
No, sir. As long as your biological age will be very low, because there is a method to check your biological age. So, for example, you said chronologically you are 73, but biologically you may be 50 or 60. No one knows.
Yes, my company is mostly with young people and all age groups. I always keep occupied, totally full day.
So obviously your biological age is less than 73, and there is a way to measure your biological age. There's a methodology is there. If you're interested, you can go to that particular lab and test your biological age. It may also tell you that how young is your heart, how young is your kidney, liver, everything. It shows that your biological age is only 50 or 60. You can go, sir. You don't have to stop anything. As I told you, at the age of 84, somebody is climbing Mount Everest.
Okay.
So there is nothing, sir. So you can check it up. Thank you. It's very good to hear that at 73 you're so active. I wish I am going to be like that.
Thank you. Excellent knowledge today. Excellent.
Thank you.
God bless you. God bless you.
Thank you.
Venkat,
thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Venkat Kannabiran, anyone else has a question, you may please unmute and ask. Rajan.
Hi, good afternoon. This is Suresh here.
Yes, Suresh.
Mr. Muthukumar, you said you are having some startup plans. So is it regarding to the aging and the same topic, or can I know it?
Yes,
Because
sir.
I'm
This
also
is
in
one of the
the
startup plans for this aging, actually. Hello, can you hear me? One of the startup companies for aging. That's correct,
Okay.
sir.
Achha, because I'm also in the idea, so I will connect with you on your mail. Let's see.
Please,
Yeah.
please, please.
Are you in Dubai or in India?
I live in Dubai, sir.
Dubai. Okay. So your startup will be started there, huh?
No, that aging will be mostly in India.
India. Okay. I'll connect with you in your mail. Huh? Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
And my request to Gopi already I sent. Please share this PPT. I could not join in the earlier time, Gopi.
Yes, Suresh, sure.
Thank you.
Mr. Kumar, good morning.
Good morning.
How do you check the biological age, sir?
No, there is a methodology used by some labs. I'm not sure whether they have something in this part of the world, but it's very common in the US and Europe. And what they do is that they test all your body function, everything, and then they have a empirical calculation model to check your heart, your liver, your kidney, all the major ones to see how efficiently they're functioning. And then they'll come back and say that your chronological age is 70, but your biological age is 60, something like that. So it shows you that how healthy your internal organs are.
Okay, good. So any particular names, do you know, Mr. Kumar?
Yeah, I can send you some labs names separately by an email. I'll do that. Okay, and if you can share that your email through this, I will respond back to that. I'll give you some names of the labs.
Sure, sir. I'll email across to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Manivan, you have questions, sir?
Yes. 1 second. Yeah. So, hello, Mr. Muthukumar. My name is Manivannan. I'm 81 Chemical.
Oh, okay. Very good, sir. Good to
Yeah. So, thank you. A wonderful session we had. I just have a couple of things to share. See, in Gujarati, there is one proverb which says, which translates to, it's not important how many Deepawalis you have seen. More important is how many crackers you have, burned.
Yeah.
So, quantity of age, lifespan is something. Yes, definitely we can work on it. But beyond human desire, there is something like what God will decide for us, how much time we will live. So, what we do in the limited time we have is something that we can even also focus on and do good things, like you rightly said. One small question: see, this type of Garmin watch, which is normally used to calculate your biological age and all different things, is helping us to calculate our own health conditions like VOX and all that. But people say continuous wearing of this watch also is injurious. Do you have any technical details on whether wearing this watch continuously is good or not?
Yeah, there are a lot of studies on that because of a lot of people complain because of the stress it's creating. What the study says is not concluded yet, but the unpublished results of the study says that because you are wearing the watch continuously, involuntarily you keep looking at your numbers. How much is my heartbeat? How much is my this thing? So what happens? Your heartbeat normally supposed to be 72. And when you're walking or resting, suddenly goes to 84 or 90, then you get stressed. Why it is 90? You try to control it. So the continuous stress factor actually creates that stress creates much important thing against you. So what they're saying is, if it's not required, you don't wear the watch because you don't need to continue, because your life, we look at the life, your blood pressure will going up and down. Your sugar will go up and down. Simple example of the sugar model, many people to understand. If you eat any carbohydrate, anytime, whether breakfast or just take a cookie, for example, or chocolate when you're at 11 o'clock in the morning, your sugar will go up immediately, spike. And then after 2 hours, it becomes normalized. And then every time you eat something, it's going up. So when people eat even a small cookie, it goes up and down. So same thing happens with the blood pressure, same thing happens with every aspect of your body. So obviously your heartbeat, all the other things will change. So when you have this watch now, it's not going to be a constant 72 all the day of your life. The heartbeat, for example, is going to go from 60 to 84, 90, 92. A lot of people get stressed by looking at it. I don't wear a watch because I tried it purposefully for about a month. And I say that every time I'm forced to look at my heartbeat, other things. So that is one of the things people say, don't do it unless for a medical purpose. So what they're saying is, you want to do check your like Mr. Swaminathan was asking about your blood pressure. You can also do for a diabetes, for example. You can put a machine and watch it for 2 weeks or 4 weeks continuously. Unless there's a medical purpose, don't use this watch. That's what the study says. Because of the stress it is creating on your body.
Okay. Thank you, Muthukumar.
Sir, Karthikeyan 2006 batch.
Yes, sir.
Sir, nice to meeting you through this forum, and thanks for Gopi sir for arranging this. Sir, I have one small question. Actually, we all know that sound sleep is very much important for our health. And what is your recommendation of sleeping hours, sir?
As per all the medical science, about 7 hours of the sleep is the most ideal, because the sleep actually goes through a cycle. You actually do not sleep. A lot of people say sound sleep. Sound sleep is not for all the 7 hours. You have a different state: alpha state, beta state, gamma state, like that. So when you go to bed, you're at a one particular state, and then it takes about 2 to 3 hours for you to go to deep sleep. And then body knows that you're going to wake up at whatever time in the morning. So it will reverse the process. Then from deep sleep, you go to different states and come up the state where when you get up, you are able to awake and walk around. So this whole process of a cycle, it requires about 7 hours. And if you sleep less than 7 hours, this particular process gets disturbed. And so most medical advice is that 7 hours of sleep is the most important. 8 hours is very good. 7 hours is recommended. 6 hours is the minimum. Anything less than 6 hours is harmful for your health.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry, trying to get unmuted.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Thank you very much, Muthukumar, sir.
Thank you, sir.
I always say chemical engineers should be involved in all the functions. Their perspective and understanding or turning the subject into the other is very great. And you proved it to be. And few of the doctors are also there. I'm from a pharmaceutical industry. Medicines are essential. Only thing is, continued medication is harmful. A doctor was also there sharing the information. I'll say medicine or medical treatment is essential for an emergency, whereas continued medication is the only one we are debating in this subject.
Yes, sir. Correct.
And you made it medicine. You made it medicine to a chemical engineering connection with the entropy, all these things. You are great, sir. I would share by mail and request you this, because halfway I have understood, but it is not long to learn and understand. I request you to share the PDF.
Yes, I'll do that, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gopi. Great doing. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Navran. I think we are taking too much of your time, sir.
It's a pleasure for me. I was worried that I have taken much time for all the people. It's a pleasure, actually, seriously.
Participants, anyone else has a question, you may please unmute and ask, please.
Mr. Kumar, do you have sort of a forums or regularly taking sessions on this subject?
Not yet, sir. We are planning, actually. In fact, like Mr. Gopi was great to ask me to do this. A few other people have asked for me. Since I am only available on Sundays, other days I'm engaged with my profession and work. So it's going slow, but probably in a month or two, we'll streamline to make it more on a Saturday and Sunday, sir. So at this point of time, it's only on invite basis it is being done.
I think
okay,
if
thank
we can
you.
have a kind of a meet, at least a virtual meet, then we can exchange ideas, because I want to ask a lot of questions like stem cell, creating body parts, replacing body parts. So, I mean, there's so much more to discuss on this, sir.
Correct, sir, definitely. And the medical advanced, as you correctly pointed out, stem cell therapies and all, it's really getting advanced now. And if another 15, 20 years, if we are able to keep our health good, I'm very somebody, suppose you have a grandchild of around 10 years of old now, that grandchild has a good chance of living more than 120 years because of medical advances.
Yes.
And that is why if you are able to keep our body another 15, 20 years good, with the medical advances, we may also live above 100 and 120.
One thing, I mean, most of the this is replacing body parts. So, which I think with stem cell, advent of stem cell, it is going to be. David Sinclair writes, I mean, that book of his, he has mentioned about reversing eyesight and things like that. So, I think it is going to be possible very soon. The unfortunate thing is the so-called healthcare or hospitals are only caring for sickness. Healthy people, you see, they say only 3% of the population is sick anytime. And all the hospitals are catering to the 3% of the population. There is not even one hospital which caters to the 97% of the population.
That's true. That's
if you are normal and go to a hospital and say, I want to become better, the doctor will think you're crazy. In fact, I had this thing. I said, do a CT scan on me. He said, why? You're okay. I said, no, it's only 15,000 rupees. It doesn't matter. I can afford to spend that money. The doctor, he's actually a relative and friend. He thought you're nuts to have your. I said, in fact, I asked a psychiatrist also, is there some method to, he said, no. Unlike heart or liver or kidney, only when you show aberration, there is some method to go to a psychiatrist. I said, is there evaluation? So much percentage your thinking is normal. No, they don't have. So, I mean, it's so sad that you maintain a car, but to maintain a health, actually, there is no clinic available.
That's true. That's absolutely true. But the future will come. Like how they are now measuring the biological age. One of the major research going on is how to measure your energy in the body. And that wellness energy in the body, that measurement is become successful. That will change a lot of things in the world. But the fear people have is that if you measure that kind of levels and things, there can be biased approach from various governments or organization, corporates, and all these things. So that's a challenge because one of the things one doctor responded saying that if you create that energy, then the corporates may say, like along with your degree and qualification, get me an energy certificate. So I will only take people of above energy because then I don't have to spend much on money on medical and insurance and all those things. And insurance companies will have a different problem with that. So there's a lot of social issues lie with the medical advances. And that is where the challenge comes to most people. And it is not becoming approved by the governments actually. So right now, as you correctly pointed out, it's easy to get a cure, but same thing, you look at most of the laws made by governments of the world is only for 10 people who actually want to disobey the law. 90% want to obey the law, right?
Even our PDS, public, they want to give sugar. Sugar is not an essential item, but that is distributed. I think tomorrow they may distribute alcohol also through PDS.
Social pressure is sugar. Sugar is basically the worst food you can eat, actually.
Okay.
But social pressures are, because if you look at all the festivals, you look at everything is made of sweets, and without that sugar, our life does not exist. No marriages, no festival, nothing happens without a sweet actually. So it's a social pressure, sir.
விஸ்வநாத், நீங்க சொன்ன மாதிரி எனக்கு ஒரு 85 இயர்ஸ் ஒரு வைத்தியர் நல்ல பழக்கம் ஆயுர்வேதிக். ஃபாதருக்கு வந்து இஸ் வேரிங் இயரிங் ஹெட் ஃபார் இஸ் ஏஜ் ஆஃப் 90. ஸோ ஐ செட், இந்த மாதிரி அப்பாவோட ஜெனட்டிக்ஸ்னால எங்களுக்கும் அதே மாதிரி வர்றதுக்கு வாய்ப்பு இருக்கு, இந்த மாதிரி இயரிங் ப்ராப்ளம் வர்றதுக்கு இருக்கு, அதை ப்ரிவென்டிவா இப்போ ஏதாவது பண்றதுக்கு வாய்ப்புகள் இருந்ததுன்னா நீங்க யூ கிவ் மீ சம் குட் ஆயுர்வேதிக் substance so that I will take it. And rightly, he has also given very small quantity, and by food habits also he said to take all these things to avoid for future. So that's the right way we need to look for healthy living rather than looking only on the treatment of sickness. The hospitals should come that way. Yeah.
கோபி சார், ஆக்சுவலா நான் இந்த உங்க இதுல டீசரை பார்த்துட்டு சார் வந்து ஆயில் அண்ட் கேஸ் பத்தி பேச போறாரு நினைச்சேன். இது என்னமோ டோட்டலி என்டலி டிஃபரெண்ட். முத்துக்குமார் சார், ரொம்ப நைஸ் பிரசன்டேஷன் அண்ட் அவர் எபிலிட்டி ஃப்ரம் அமனாமலை இஸ் ப்ரூவன். என்னோட சின்ன இது வந்து நாங்க வந்து ஆக்சுவலா பிவல் ஹாஸ்பிட்டல் குரூப் 12 ஹாஸ்பிட்டல் இப்போ ரன் பண்றோம் ஆல் ஓவர் தமிழ்நாடு. அனதர் 35 இது வந்து எக்ஸ்பான்ஷன் வித்தின் 5 இயர்ஸ் ஸ்பேன்ல. ஸோ நீங்க சொல்ற இந்த டெஸ்ட் இந்த மாதிரி குரோனலிக்கல் ஏஜ் பயாலஜிக்கல் ஏஜ் டெஸ்ட் எல்லாம் பண்ற மாதிரி ஏதாவது ஒரு நியூ ஐடியா கொண்டு வந்தீங்கன்னா யூ கேன் ட்ரை இட் இன் அவர் ஹாஸ்பிட்டல் சார். ஆர் நீங்க ஏதாவது நியூ ஐடியா அந்த மாதிரி பை ஆக்சுவலா ஹாஸ்பிட்டல் வந்து இந்த சார் சொன்ன மாதிரி இவங்க போனா நீங்க சொன்ன மாதிரி கியூர் பண்றதுக்குன்னு சொல்லி பில்ட போடுறாங்க. ஆக்சுவலா இந்த என்னோட பிரதரோட மோட்டிவ் என்னங்கன்னா he worked in Apollo for 15 years and he is making such a 50 hospitals with affordable with maybe இப்ப ரஜினிகாந்த் கூட ஃப்ரீயா கட்டுறாரு. ஸோ இவனோட எய்ம் வந்து இட் ஷுட் பி லைக் ஃபுல் ஸ்ட்ரீம், நாட் லைக் அப்போலோ, பட் இட் இஸ் a மினி அப்போலோ. ஸோ ப்ரைஸ்லாம் ரொம்ப கம்மி, பட் எக்ஸ்பான்ஷன் ரீச்சபிள் அந்த மாதிரி கொண்டு வராரு சார். நீங்க எதுவும் ட்ரை பண்ணணும்னா எங்க ஹாஸ்பிட்டல் நீங்க கேன் ஃப்ரீ ட்ரை சார். ஐ வில் கெட் யுவர் நம்பர் அண்ட் தென் சென்ட் இட் வாட்ஸ்அப். யூ ரிப்ளை ஆன் சண்டே ஒன்லி. தட்ஸ் நாட் a problem.
Please,
Thank you, sir.
I'll do that. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you for that.
Venkat, please go on, Venkat.
Yeah, Gopi, Venkat. Thank you,
Yes, sir.
Muthukumar. This
Hey,
is your friend Stella speaking.
yes, yes.
Your pet name. Sorry. So, one concept which a lot of people are advocating is moderation, which is what they call as the magic M. Moderate sleep, moderate diet, moderate exercise, moderate brain stimulation. What are your, I mean, pretty much if I relate what you are saying with moderation is practically a good balance between entropy and energy, right? So is that concept gaining prevalence in your research, or it has a place in your research?
That's absolutely a very good point, Venkat. Really good point. Because if you look at, we can take back a little back. If you look at Buddha, his 4-way of life of Buddha's teachings is the midway, moderate way. He says, be moderate in everything, your expectations, your desire, your life. So that's a very good concept, because everything moderate will help us. And that's a growing concept in the world today. Because today everything is excess. If you look at the food we eat, excess. The carbohydrates we eat is very excess. The sweets, and we talked about sweets sometime back, the sugar, and all the supermarkets, the packed materials, processed food, everything is excess. Exercise also many people do very excess. So we do not understand the whole concept of life changed to excess. Speed, for example, everybody wants to be very fast. And nobody wants to be slow. People do not like. If you want to watch a dance show, it has to be very fast. If you want to watch a racing, it has to be very fast. Everything is fast, actually. So people have gone into a very excessive model. And moderation, it's one of the concept is developing, as you correctly pointed out. And as you already mentioned the 4 of them. And that's a model everybody has to follow. Only thing is that the brain stimulation, there is no moderation for that. You can actually increase the brain stimulation to the higher level. Automatically, it will adjust the other 3 aspects of it. Definitely, exercise should be moderate only, no excess of it. Food definitely has to be moderate. Sleep has to be moderate and adequate. And brain stimulation should be good. Moderate brain stimulation is not the one people are recommending at this point of time. You can actually stimulate the brain to any extent you need at this point of time.
So can I ask you one final thing? Muthu, can I ask you one final thing?
Yes, yes, sir, please.
See, actually, for me, you are the role model, because I know everyone has 24 hours, and how they utilize the 24 hours is it's a $1 million question. Because I know very well that you utilize the 24 hours very nicely, for right from eating, playing games, reading books, and then listening to music. Like that, you do it every 24 hours like this. So to win over this entropy level, can you give a prescription, short and sweet prescription, what is to be done on every 24 hours? I think that will be very, very useful to everyone to follow that and then take benefit out of it.
Thank you, Swami. Swami is a very good question, actually. Very good question. Links actually with Venkat's question. What is life is about is, if you look at any good dietitian, Madam Jayanti may be listening, any good nutrition or a dietitian go there, first thing they say is variety. have variety in life. When you have variety in life in whatever you do, food also, for example, you don't just stay with one particular food or a diet controlled by somebody. Have a variety of food, varying from fibers to vitamins to proteins, carbohydrates, and fats, and change your recipes and menus and different ideas. So variety is always good with a moderate level. Similarly, in life also, variety makes a lot of difference. If you do not have variety, then your energy levels will be different. Your body is completely having a variety of functions. So when you have a love for music, love for reading, love for debating, love for playing a game, indoor game like a chess or a bridge, play an outdoor game like table tennis, or it's kind of a mid-level, outdoor, indoor, tennis or cricket or whatever. And then you also have, you play dance and do exercise and walking, for example, and chatting with the family and friends. When you have a variety of activities, your brain is highly stimulated. That gives a very good energy. Most of the time, people have problem is they go to office, they come back, and then they eat, they watch a movie, talk something, and sleep. So it's called grind wheel of life. When you say in the grind wheel of life, you're always grinding your life. But you have a variety of life. You look like nature is always variety. Nature does not stay at a one single thing. Every day things change. People always say, last summer it was very hot. Last time it was heavy rain. But life changes. Every day changes. Monsoon changes. Only we take it very seriously. But nature changes. Nature's variety is same for our body. So the only fundamental foundation formula or something is bring variety in life, except bringing more wives and more parents. I have only one wife, but variety in anything else.
Very well said, sir. And in my LinkedIn posts, I keep writing about the nutrition. How our body absorbs nutrition is the bite method. But my bite is different from your bite. I've also used this acronym. I was just laughing when you said bite, and I've just given the link just for Swaminathan, sir. There I have just mentioned about the variety, where I'm telling in my sessions about this. Even for the food, every day don't be eating the same food. We need a mind. This is so designed for variety. You rightly said, sir, this grind is very useful. Maybe I will incorporate this in my session also. Thank you. I'm taking a lot of inputs from your speech, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Jayanti. Thank you very much.
Mr. Kumar, just I googled across, says like that to calculate the biological age, it says a glycon age. Is it the same thing what you're telling about the biological age testing factor?
One is a calculation method, which is empirical formula, they use it. Other is the actual measurement method where they do the measurement. So it depends upon how you want to look at it actually. So both are a little different actually. One is empirical based on calculations, other one is actual measurements.
Okay, the actual measurement, they said you have to send some 4 drops of blood because there are a lot of other tests available. They take money. You want to know exactly, is it the same thing, testing through the blood?
Yes, testing through the blood is one, but most of the people test through the blood only, through the blood test with all various things. And some people actually do also other tests to confirm. Because if you look at the function of your liver, function of your kidneys, function of your pancreas, even heart to some extent, everything can be tested with the blood. So that's what they do, the blood test. But then they also go beyond to compare how your, for example, your prostate, urine, bladder works actually, and sugar control. They also have something else to do it. So it depends upon how extent you want to do it. But basically, blood test is the fundamental. You're right.
Thanks, Mr. Kumar.
Thank you, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of the session. So thank you very much for your extended time, sir.
Oh, thank you very much, Mr. Gopi. I appreciate everyone, and thank you very much for this opportunity.